Alrighty. See if you're with Laney. Um, I'm looking for this window. I'm moving to the first. That's where I actively work. This is going to be the second. Let's just move that to the second as well. So, hola. Muchas gracias. Okay, perfecto. Gracias. Mm-hmm. I just give it a moment, and then she'll come over and take her order. Alright, 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 alright. Let me get Jesse looped in. Going now. Meet, copy, and I have to send this over to Jesse. Too many chance, too many chance. Where do we just talk? That wasn't the place. Okay, let's go to window one, and I guess it was in design FT. Here we go. Alright, hold up. And here we can go to figma.com. Can I actually sketch on this thing? That'd be fun. Probably doesn't work. Ah, there we go. Jesse's there. All right. Hey, I'm doing well. How are you doing? All right. Turn the volume up a bit. Cool. So you want to share a screen share on Figma, or shall we just watch the Figma together and then we'll just see each other's mice cursors? Cool. Okie dokie. I'm there right. Hang on. I hear you really far away. I cranked up the volume. Do you hear me? Ah, I hear you very, very much in the background, very softly. Oh, so much better. Oh, so much better. Oh, great. Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So what we were looking at is this the branches. Like if like typically when I'm looking at different branches or switching between them, I want to be able to see the content that relates to them. So it probably would make a lot of sense to have this branches thing with the main, or like basically the branches and basically the commits effectively. Maybe in the site pane, such that I when I can switch between a branch or I hover over any of these commits, I can see highlighted inside of the main content pane what has been changed. Can you come again? Oh, draw something. Ah, okay. Yeah, sure. I can draw something. Um, that's where you are. Okay, cool. Sweet. Okay, so what we have, let me just sketch and bear with me. I'm not the I'm not a certified Figma sketcher, but I'm guessing F this and then F that, and then these are all inside it. I guess this is auto. How do you do auto layout grid? That way, um, right? Like all of them. Just sorry, this takes fill container, height fill container. Thanks for that. This is kind of cool. Yeah, you're awesome, awesome. So imagine this was like about 300-ish, and if we pin this to I don't know, maybe also 300-ish, you would know better what they have to be. Then you would probably have in here what you did here, which I can't copy over. I don't think is it in a frame. I don't. the branches for you. What if you start with the branches up top here? Exactly. Oh, sweet. Yeah. And then underneath you have like the main, and then at the very bottom you have kind of like the graph. Then as I switch between these things, I can see in the main content view, oh, you're hovering over, you're inside of main and you're seeing commits for main. And I can kind of like see the changes inside of the content that relates to them. That's kind of like the whole thing. Okay, you don't understand it. All right, so this is maybe I should screen share, um, for example. Let me find a document I can use as a nice example. Uh, I'm gonna make a new document. Let me do that. Drive.google.com, um, and then new Google Doc, and we call this change experiment. And then I go to this thing. We're actually, oh yeah, let me do this correctly. Um, and then here I share my screen here as well. Entire screen. There. There we go. Um, so here we go. So inside of this, let me go to, let me produce this thing again. Okay, view history. Okay, so blah 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 blah. This, and then I do that, and maybe I should throw the link your way, and then you can actually dump some stuff into this document as well. Um, we're gonna try to invoke Google's change management views. Google Docs, uh, Google Docs change management. Sí, quiero una flat white con leche de avena. Okay. Oh, Google News, and then we set Google Docs change management, right? Almendra, sí. Yes. Okay. All right. Is there a good example here? But okay, maybe I can't get a good screenshot. Version change management, version control. No, nothing. I change management. And this is a good screenshot. Okay, here we go. Sweet. If you see my screen share, you can kind of like see the version history. This is a screenshot from how Google Docs does it at the moment, where they basically give you the version history, and the document is to the left. So you always see the changes that a particular change relates to. So if I go back to the Figma, um, that would kind of like mean that if I'm highlighted over main, I'll have the option of any of, how does this work? These, if I copy this and I put it, um, I'm trying to, forgive me if this, ah, perfect. You already put, okay, I'll leave it up to you. Yeah. If you can put the main thing right underneath it, it's probably going to be a bit wonky with the formatting because of the git commit refs, but we can fix that later. While you're doing that, I'll just do some example frames in here. We're just going to width. Ah, darn it! This is supposed to be auto layout. Um, is, is it a bad thing? Okay, yeah, because from development perspective, doing the auto layout thing makes it faster to just convert it to code. Because okay, so that's why I typically structure it like that. Um, so I'm just gonna do my scribbles real quick like that because then I spent less time moving things around because my mouse is really tricky to use, and then you can always remove them and do your own thing. Then I don't have to sit in the interrupt with your flow. So here we go. Now I can do now I can do the fill container thing. So for this thing, for example, I could say uh, it's not going to be this green. It's going to have to be a different green. But like the text that is inside, the text that has been added and the text that has been removed will show up in slight color changed backgrounds. And I believe that um, in GitLab MRs, let me go there. There has been one closed recently, and that I shared with you, where you can kind of like see what I was referring to. Because here, if I go to the changes page, I like I typically these are all separate files, but we're now looking at a single file. And in that single file, I kind of like want to see in one overview, like, oh, this has been added, this has been removed. This is kind of like what we're going for. um, and we just want the pane to the right so we don't have to switch between screens, because this flow really, it's really annoying. You end up here, and almost always you kind of like want to look at the changes, but you have to switch to another view to actually see them. Does that make a bit more sense, or is there still, are you still confused on why anyone would want to do that? Okay. All right, yeah, we could experiment. I mean, like, I know for a fact that Google has it in there. For them, it works. The question is, where else could you put it while still providing visibility over the document? So you maybe then, I guess you have a couple of options. You could put it to the left, you could put it to the right, you could put it up or down, or you could put it as a model, or you put it as a separate screen, for example. These are kind of like the options. The model kind of like blocks access to the page itself, so maybe it's suboptimal. The separate screen means that you have to do another click, which is kind of like a UX killer, in my opinion. But I am a very clunky mouse user. Maybe some people love that mousing thing, right? So I just want to see as much information as possible in one go, not too overwhelming, but relatively condensed to the most important parts. So I guess if we modeled it after the Google Docs thing in the beginning, then we're not doing something completely new. So people might be familiar with the pattern, and then we can experiment to see, like, if it doesn't stick, we do something else. Um, yeah. Can you come again? Hmm. Okay, cool, perfect, perfect. Hmm. Let me go back to the screen. Yeah, can I follow you? Let me click on you. Yeah, I'm following you. Okay. Yeah. So we don't make a separate distinction there, because every section can have a Kanban view of its own. So like inside of um, right now, if in order to get this view that you're showing in the Kanban iteration two, you would basically have to click Kanban view when you're on top of builds, and then it's going to show the Kanban, um, basically the options for the children of builds. So it probably could be the exact same um, TOC, or table of contents, that you show there all the time, um, because the views are over the sections themselves. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. Switching over to Google. There we go. Cool. Okay, gotcha. Hmm. Exactly. Yeah. So what exactly? We haven't implemented anything. This is just like prototypical thing. What we should do, Well, the idea is that when you click on a section, the Kanban view focuses to that section. But we don't do that right now. Right now, we show just the top level Kanban board, which is not necessarily the most useful Kanban board because very often I would just like to look at a very narrow section of the board. So that's so what how you can imagine this is like if you were to click on builds, you would basically see the builds Kanban board where you would see the UI UX thing. It's not even a task, so we probably wouldn't show it as a card. We would show the children of the UI UX things because those are tasks. We would show them then over the Kanban board. But then you might probably say like, oh, this is too much stuff on the board for me. Give me something more focused to UX. So then you click on UX, and then the board filters down. Exactly. Uh huh. Cool. Let me see. This is, muchas gracias. All right, I'm here. I'm tracking you. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so that means the moment you switch to Kanban, then the board. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Okay, cool. We could work that out. We could work that out. So let me see then. Let's go back to the up one. That means that goals didn't have any tasks inside it, so it's not relevant to show it. Builds as prototype. Okay, fair enough. Then probably you would have to show stack as well because that's a task. So that would fall under build. So you probably have the level of builds that can still show up as a Kanban board because Project Alex has been canceled. Stack is, or Project Alex is work in progress. Stack is kind of like work in progress, I guess. And then you can laser down into the kind of like the TOC view. That's a child of the builds, obviously. So I guess it's the same thing that you're doing with just a little bit more scope because the builds is also Kanbanable. Cool. Muchas gracias. Sweet. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's really interesting to see your design process because it's so different. Like I'm like the one who's like I just auto lay out things because I'm thinking like in terms of CSS, and you're just like purely like I'm a designer. I put it where I want to put it, and I'm like I'll put it where the computer wants to put it. Hmm. Uh, I see. Yeah. I like seeing how like different routes to Rome, different roads to Rome. It's beautiful. But yeah, exactly what you're doing. I love this. This is kind of like what we're doing with the same. Mhm. Hmm. Exactly. I love that. Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's much cleaner. All right. Oh yeah, I saw that. I like that. I like the sidebar for that. I have to say I don't like my gauges, so you can just like redesign them because I think they're ugly. But we knew that. We knew that from the beginning that I wasn't gonna build you anything beautiful. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Cool. Yeah, the overall structure is so much cleaner, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'm tracking you. Cool. All right, that's also cool. That's interesting because now that you're saying this, we there's this idea that we have for this thing called inbox. which is like a which is effectively a place where like um, the automations will trigger some messages to you, like, oh, you were supposed to get this thing done on that day. These are the remaining tasks they're in. Do you want to tackle it now, or do you want to deprioritize it? So I guess kind of like a view like this would be okay. Perfect. Hmm. Cool. Perfect. Yeah, good to know. And then cool. Yeah, nice and clean. Yeah, I like it. So much more thought, like so much more structure there. So when you click on the notifications, any individual notification, do you have an idea of what happens in the right pane? Uh-huh. The page. The Gotcha. 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 All right. Yeah. So then the thing is, because what I'm thinking when you're going back to the notification, if it's like one of those notifications that Jesse added something, then inside of the main view, I can just highlight the parts that Jesse added. Yeah, absolutely. I like that. Yeah, like a breadcrumbs they call them in. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, love it. Yeah, yeah. So that's another thing that becomes interesting is, are we throwing away the idea of dual pane use? Um, because then in the dual pane view, I guess that we probably don't want to center align, but want to left align the content, right? Or do you think we should still center align in dual pane? Okay, so your screen presenting. Okay, but so the okay, but it doesn't feel center aligned, is it? Huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it kind of works. Mm, let me see if I can formulate what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking about kind of like the book analogy, or um, not metaphor, but you know what I mean. Where you have, of course, it's kind of like center aligned, yes, because you have the left, the right margin. Um, if you put multiple pages next to each other, I'm not so sure. Like, I mean, like if the text is wide enough and the pane is narrow enough, you're not gonna notice it's center aligned because it feels like it's left aligned. Um, if you catch my drift. So I am not so sure if I have a strong opinion on it. I just feel intuitively that if I have two panes side by side, um, coming back to kind of like, you're probably not seeing my screen. Oh yeah, you probably are. Then like text typically, like also like the source left aligned, right? More or less. It feels like it makes a lot of sense to do it. It also feels like even if we center align the ah okay, that's what I'm thinking, because I feel like I read a book with left alignment if it's a left to right language, or right alignment if it's a right to left language or script. Ah, okay, cool. Then we sorted that. Oh yeah, okay. No, no, no. That was under miscommunication. My bad. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Okay. Good. Perfect. Cool. No. Then we just make like some design candidates, and then we implement something like that. And then we should already be able to test it out to feel how it goes, and then from that point on, we just iterate. I'm totally down with that. Yeah. Cool. Eh, yes. Actually, this is the first time I'm seeing this part. Um, I love it. It looks a lot cleaner. So this is a funny scenario. Maybe not so funny. So sometimes if I'm checking the text, maybe the okay, this is a good one. This is more of a philosophy slash design philosophy question. Like if you're talking about comments, should they always disappear as soon as you're not focusing on them anymore, or should they kind of like remain visible? Because my train of thought was that sometimes I have like comments in a document. Maybe I should go to like our staging.formation tools. I can show one. I'm pretty sure that this part of the stream is going to be like really weird because I can't loop audio from Google Meet into the stream. So people are just watching, if anyone is watching actually. Oh, somebody is watching. Someone's just watching me talk and they know that you're there, but they can't hear you. No, because it only works if I do the streaming inside a StreamYard, or I have to figure out how to use this complicated OBS Studio thing. But good luck with that on my Linux distribution. It's not gonna work. But cool. But then you see, like here, I have like this comment visible, and I don't have to actively click it away to still be able to see it. In this case, it's a very small comment, so it doesn't break anything, right? But sometimes there could be like this really complicated formula or this really important bit of information that I kind of that maybe I want to keep visible while I am scrolling through the document or looking at something else in the document. Um, so I don't know what your design philosophy on this is. Like, do you think we should just drop it and just have the hover thing? Especially also if the comments get very long, for example. Ah, okay, that's good. That's good. I like that better. Maybe that's then the nice. Hmm. Uh huh. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, so maybe there are like design options we can play around with. Um, I also don't think that what we did is optimal. Hmm. Come back to you. Ooh, I like the highlight sections. I love them. Uh-huh. Okay. I also know it's very late for you, so you could also just send it to me for tomorrow. Then I check it later today. Then I check it later when you're like tomorrow morning. If you find it again, you can send it to me, and then I'll do code reviews and the pitch applications. I have a long list of things, so I'm not blocked if you couldn't find it right now. Then I just go on with the other things. Yeah, yeah. What? Okay, that's an interesting one. So the reason why I'll maybe the context is interesting. The reason why we highlight it for long is because sometimes I would have this very long, like let me find um, a piece of text that I can highlight. So for example here, persistence. Let me try to find it. Can I unclick it? I can't really unclick it. So I'm just going to go down to this one in scoping. There's a bunch of stuff in it. Like when I'm deeply in the middle of this thing, I don't know where it begins or ends. Um, but I that's past me clicking something, right? So then I kind of like want to get like a reminder of like what's the scope I'm looking at now. I know like when I scroll beyond my visibility, even it reminds me like, oh, you didn't know this was the end because you couldn't see it when you clicked the initial thing, but now I remind you of it. Maybe, yeah. Okay, it takes too much focus. Okay, the Figma. I'm back at Figma. I'm following your mouse. You are slightly breaking up a bit there. Just FYI. Okay, I hear you again. Mm-hmm. I'm here. I'm here. You were breaking up a bit, but I'm here. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Ah, okay, yeah. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah, something like that works. Okay, so the tricky thing with the builds thing, right? Like the highlight that you had there would have to cover all of its children as well. So in the previous example, the builds highlight only covered the heading, then the first paragraph, but it probably would have had to cover prototype one, API v1. It's a lot. It's a big mess of everything you would have to highlight. So I think that this border or the margin to the left that kind of like changes color, that would be nice. But then my accessibility brain is triggered because we have to figure out something that is non-color based for colorblind users. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really liking this actually. I think like maybe like some other symbol instead of the highlight distracts from focus less because quite frankly, I'm not a big fan of doing anything that screws around with kind of like the typography. So if it's black text on white backgrounds or something like that, then let's keep it low noise and not add too many things to that. So the colors probably distract too much. But something to the left as an indicator of scope would be very helpful. So yeah, this is good. Cool. You know what we can also do, and this is like a crazy idea, maybe not super crazy. Um, is it actually a crazy idea? I was thinking the no, my idea was kind of like lame. Sorry for that. That was a dumb distraction. Because I was thinking of the same thing in the kind of like this mini map that you have in some editors, but that's a little bit too far down the line. I think the left margin does the same thing. It gives a sense of where you are in the full scope of the document. Um, that's fine. Let's keep it that way. Cool. Kind of because I was thinking like, oh, but where am I in the context of the full document? But then I already thought like, but the TOC already kind of tells me that I'm probably halfway through the document, so maybe that information is already there. Exactly. It's a nice to have, not a must have. Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. All right. Yes, I see that. Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah. Dope. Yeah, I see that. Or start a breakout session with them, because so that's the idea that I think is important, because we have the branching model that I don't think Figma necessarily has in that way. It means that I can work with my colleague on something, and do that in isolation from what someone else is doing, especially if I'm on the spectrum and I need to be in focus mode. I don't want to have other people changing docs. That's probably the worst thing about Google Docs, is when you're changing something, if someone else is changing stuff above you, the text is just running away from you while you're trying to write stuff, and you're like, ah. Um, so maybe you can do something like follow or break out into a separate room, and then the other person has like some option of selecting whether they want to be followed or if they want to jump into a breakout room. Eh, mhm. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. So, oh, this is a good one. So the problem that you would find for a person like a CTO or something else is that they may be following, or they may be contributors in multiple branches because there are multiple efforts ongoing. We would have to then be able to show that Jesse has been very pivotal, like very involved in figuring out new colors that work for colorblind people based on W3C accessibility standards. But then there's also this, oh, ML assist interfaces for text completion or whatever. That's another, maybe another task force that's working on that. And then there might be some engineering constraint that is limiting what we can do in design. These might be three branches that are under your name, where you probably have commented on things, or maybe said like, oh, this is a deal breaker ball. How would you show them? Uh-huh. Oh, so you're basically saying these are basically all the live people at the moment. You can only be in one branch at a certain time. Yeah. So how do we solve you having multiple tabs open in multiple pages, doing different things in different branches? It's okay. It's okay. You could also sketch it. The scenario. Ah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I see you there. Exactly. I spotlight you. Uh huh. Uh huh. Mm-hmm. Ah, I see. I see what you're saying. But okay, then I think I understand the miscommunication. I think when you say tab, you mean pane, like the panes, because you have the multiple panes in parallel. I meant a different browser tab, like because then you might be doing completely disconnected things in different browser tabs or different browser windows even. Ooh, but then what's the UX then when I switch from one active to the other, from the one window to the other? Are we going to radically like teleport the follower to that other place? Because that might be really confusing. That's interesting. Hmm. Okay. Okay, cool. That's something to experiment with. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, then here's another interesting scenario. because technically we have like a bunch of problems to solve when you teleport or you even follow someone. Because like, for example, in Figma, the problem is simplified because there's always just one view. And the problem that you have to solve is calculate for the part that you want to show, which is effectively around the cursor. um, if another person, if I follow you, you're on a big monitor and you have like five panes open horizontally next to each other, and I'm watching you on a small MacBook Air type of device, then there's probably no decent way that you could understand, spatially understand what's going on inside of that tiny screen. So we're probably gonna have to figure out what the mapping is. Hmm? The cursor. Okay. So you're talking where the mouse or the cursor is. That's what we focus on always. Okay. Okay. Cool. That's a good idea. And then how would you do it? Would you then say like if you switch between like the left pane to the right pane, that for a small screen you just switch within the same pane, or do you actually do the whole pane mapping as well? Okay, cool. So what I'm trying to say is like I'm going to sketch it in a very very prototypical way. So I have this, and then I can duplicate three, maybe. Um, Goodness, this didn't work out as I was hoping. So this is my big screen, right? And then I'm a small user. My full screen size is probably like this, right? So what we technically could be doing is like if I'm active here and I just give it an active color, that this one here just shows the active color, but because of the aspect ratio of the screen, I probably don't bother showing all the other panes because it's just confusing to the end user. Mhm. Okay, see, now I understand you. I thought that we were basically in the follow mode, mapping the pane layout, or at least the hierarchy as well. Gotcha. But mhm, perfect. This one, perfect. I love that. Let me follow you again. Anais joined. It's so cool when you have this collaboration mode thingy. Cool. Hmm. Yeah, Panes, like Pane. Yeah. Uh huh. Perfect. Which is good because then this is then also then the model that I can think through about how does following in a mobile view work. So someone who's on the go following me, it would this is the model that would work where they would just always have one pane that maps. Um, yeah, good. Hmm. Copy. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, yeah, perfect. Yeah, I hear you there. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Makes a lot of sense. That there. Let me just sketch. Oh, I was gonna scribble with the. Yeah, let me do another scenario. Like, just bear with me for a second. Like, I like to go through these technical edge cases. So now I am like another person on the team, and I had three paints open because I was like trying to like I was studying something and I wanted to keep like a A/B panel type of open to contrast things between each other. If I want to follow you, like how does that work? Let me say this is the TOC. I make it a little bit narrower, right? In that TOC, you had like this members or team option where I could select someone. I currently have this one active. Does that always mean that when I select follow, that the following happens in whatever the active pane was at the time? Okay. See, okay, it's good to talk about these things because then I understand what you're thinking. So in the case that I were to say, oh, follow someone, and I had like an elaborate layout open, it would reduce the layout to a single view. Hmm. Ah, gotcha. Okay, so then in this case, then the follow scenario would change into something like this, where and this one are kind of like gone, and this one just kind of like goes like that, right? Yeah, you go back. Gotcha. Perfect. Makes a lot of sense. Cool. Yeah, totally following you now. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. Cool. Yeah, cool. What I think of the overall work, I love it. I love that it's a lot cleaner than the scribbles I made, so I can already see where we're going with this. So I'm really happy to also get more structure here. I also like there are a bunch of new ideas coming up that I didn't have on my radar yet. So that just refines and kind of like progresses where we are. And I think also one thing that's really important that you managed to tackle is that there is more of a flow thing. Like most of the screens that I scribbled were just this is it, single moment in time, no actual progression over time type of thing. And here you kind of like already outlined like, oh, but then you go to the Kanban view, this is how the reduction happens, or you switch over to these other panels in the TOC that allow you, or in the sidebar that allow you to then trigger other flows that makes it so much easier to kind of like imagine where this thing is going. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. Um, I have like maybe one more point for tomorrow when you're sparring about the indentation problem. Um, the question to you would be: do we remove the leftmost bars of the graph or of the branching graph that are no longer in view, or do we keep them there because there is a certain amount of noise? Okay, cool. I like that. Yeah, perfect. Then I understand you. To the left, right? Because the left, yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Oh, good. We're aligned. Perfect. Cool. And then the other thing that I would like to think about is would you tomorrow, depending on the time that you have available, can you think about the collaborative editing, um, effectively what we do on the UI front to communicate that? Because right now, of course, I see the document, but I from the screenshots, either from the ones that I have, it's even worse. But like from the ones that you have, I don't necessarily see that someone can edit it or how it looks if you're editing it. We wrote that on Slack. Exactly. Yeah. Then maybe we show some cursors and maybe even up top. That was yeah, that's not a Notion idea. That's a programming idea. So like I'm totally down with that. That's just some hacker shit they brought into this tool. Yeah, so I'm totally down for that. I love that. So we just have to show a couple of cursors in there doing stuff. Then people can imagine like, okay, people are actually editing this thing. It's not a read-only thing. And then probably we should also do the same thing you see in other collaborative tools where in the main view, I can see who I am or who else is in the document, maybe somewhere top right where it typically is rendered. I don't know where if you want to put it somewhere else. I'm totally down with that because you have a bottom left, I see, where I see you at least, right? But I need to see who else is there with me. Um, and I don't even know if you want to put it in like maybe even a margin to show the avatar of the person that is editing something. Uh, Exactly. This is all up to you. So I'm really looking forward to some suggestions here. Yeah. Yeah. Right. I agree with that. Yeah. Absolutely. Cool. Really looking forward to tomorrow's design. Look at this. This is awesome. Yeah. This is dope stuff. I like it. Cool. Now I think and then probably by end of next week I'll probably start talking to the engineering team to figure out like how we can start mapping more of what we have here into the actual stuff right now. and there's a bunch of data engineering work that I have to solve to do a bunch of the fancier Git and collaboration stuff. So that is work in progress, but this is already so much cleaner to understand. So thanks for that. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cafe, Quentin Cafe, Summer Mexico. Let me just show you. Actually, let me just go to them. Google whatever. So it's just like a beautiful cafe. Quentin, good coffee. Lena's somewhere in the sun by the playground out there, just chilling with a book. I'm just getting some work done. And then after this, after our call, I have a bunch of code reviews to sort through. There's a long list of merge requests waiting for me, so that's what I'm gonna do. And then I have another buddy joining me for to work on their Chrome extension something. So I'm really looking forward to that. So it's just all cozily seated here, eating, drinking some coffee or water or juice. You know, yeah, making that work a bit more spicy. Not like it's not spicy enough, but it just for the creativity. I'm changing the scenery, and then I get good energy from this. Yeah, will do, buddy. You have a good night's rest, and then we'll talk tomorrow. All right, breathe, Anais. Bye bye. Oh wow, good progress, good progress, good progress. All right, so let's see. Um, oh yeah, I can put a banner up. Like here we go. Follow on Twitter, all of that jazz. 51 minutes in. What are we going to do? Um, oh yeah, there were forgetting the words that I. Yeah. So. Oh yeah, things, food, things, ginger. I figured that out earlier today because that was the last Google search I ran, or DuckDuckGo. Uh, Gen keep I guess it's later. Let's double check the ginger. Yeah. Okay. Cinnamon and la canela, I believe. Those are ones that I didn't know yet. Mm, ooh, yeah, cool. What else? Oh yeah, arriba. I think that's yeah. Upstairs. That's one thing I need to figure out. Sometimes we go to a place and then they stay upstairs. Hacia arriba. Hacia arriba. Upstairs. Yeah. Oh, that's already. I already had that. Up. Okay. Upstairs. Okay. Fair enough. Cool. So we started streaming like start 1 hour ago. FT design Jessy time start FT code review, um, and then the selling team. Back tomorrow. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Oh yeah, and then I have to do the prep work of how do I share? What share this thing? Comments, copy. I probably want to share my screen when I go to um, WhatsApp. So there we go. And I can probably um, update the calendar invite. Let me do that right away so Joe can hop in whenever Joe's ready. Then copied. um, Calendar. There we go. How do I edit this? not in this app, I guess. Let me go to the Google Calendar apps because this is one of my Google accounts. This one, edit. Um, do I don't understand. Ah, come on. Ah, this doesn't work. How do you? Yes, I already did. Yes. How do I add like notes? Triple mailing with. Um, don't add notification. Well, apparently, apparently there's no way for me to edit an event that I didn't create myself. Huh, fair enough. Then this is just the way it is. Send it by WhatsApp. I'm pretty sure Joe can get to it. Um, and we switch back to at stream. Cool. Um, okay. Oh, reading stuff. Only has her little pastry thing down. Um, ooh, yeah. Ha, someone testing. Um, oh, gone again. Okay, I can at least hear it, so that's good enough. Oh, let me stop sharing my screen again. I'm probably gonna go to WhatsApp. Um, remove. Oh yeah. All right. So um, back to stream. Oh, so doing this. Uh, I'm fiddling around with this a bunch. Um, I am. Oh, maybe I just look at my WhatsApp notifications from my phone. It's probably a lot better. Then I don't have to switch on and off on StreamYard. Perfect. Cool. So I think Joe knows that he can hop in whenever he's ready. I think I added a couple of works that I. Oh, these are a couple of things that places, nouns, places. Now, of course, face, guy, staircase. Yeah, and gymnasio. Well, easy. Gym. I use that every morning now. Pool, not using it anymore since I have the open wound under my on the sole of my left foot, so can't use that. So I think I have those. Let's see, la mesa, contraseña. That's an important one. I had a bunch of Wi-Fi questions recently. What else do I need? I think for now, uh, we're good. Oh, all right. So here we are. FD0. Mm, cool. We have this Microsoft Playwright thing. I have never tried to pull this image locally. So Docker pull, see what happens there. It's going to be useful for a minute because I have to test that thing from Stefano. Uh, First things first, fetch from origin. See how that looks. All right, bunch of stuff coming in. So what was this before? Did Stefano make anything new? Playwright GitLab. What is this? Hi. We already did that. Interesting. Let me see the next. Do we need browser binaries? Let's see. Question is before script. Does it work though? I don't understand if we need to run that. But like this, we're caching some files. Ooh, browser binaries. Oh shit. We basically pull browser binaries, put them in the local directory. All right, so we're probably going to use Stefano's whatever for that. Like, I don't have time to dive into all the saucy deep and juicy details here. So let's have a. There's nothing pending, which means that this one is basically clear. Oh yeah, perfect. It's okay. It's okay. You can, yeah, go for it. Yeah, nada. Mm, further check. Let's see if the commit was actually called that. Marshall. So the oldest one. How many commits? Actually, we have to verify we can run this locally. So um, maybe I don't think about the setup, the pipeline thing yet. Uh, maybe we provide like a rule to run this inside of Docker. Let's just think about that. So you have the container called. Yeah, so what we do effectively, how can you run GitLab CI? Run GitLab CI locally, right? Which almost certainly, yeah, it's probably like some CLI too that we can run. CI runner, uh, GitLab runner, GitLab runner. That's that's the most authoritative resource. GitLab runner, GitLab runner help, GitLab runner and help with what? Using implement variables, GitLab runner run. Okay, so how do we Linux? Cool. Do we need to register a runner? Manual install. Let's see. All right. So how about we check in on Nix OS options? Let's see. GitLab runner. Is there anything on that? Here we go. Runner, the continuous integrator, integration executor of GitLab. So um, I can probably npm and shell. No. So we say GitLab runner, right? And we add it up top. And come on, back. See if it rebuilds. And GitLab. Uh, N for C, N for C. Here N reload. Ah, come on, load. Does it actually build? Okay, so we got a problem. Current system missing. What the hell do we do now? Get tree is dirty. It's warning. Current system missing. Gosh, why is this now a problem? Let's go. Here we go. Verify unloading. PWDs here. Okay, so track C and see if that's why is this now a problem. Actually, current system missing. How problem? Ah, this is current system missing. Mixed shell. Why the hell do we have this? What happened recently? I'm gonna have to call. Yeah, okay, the shell is. What's the answer? You're basically telling next bit of the stress minus person shell makes me no. This makes fun. Am I using flakes? Okay, hang on. Want to look in shell.mix. Let's look at shell.mix. See what this. Okay, so cool. Mix packages and import. Cover. That's not anything. Oh, local start so listening. You need to pass this message. Supposed to listen as the built-in cylinder does not cause an issue because it's just lazy and outputs will not be tolerated. Okay. For adding, thanks again. I can't select the factor. You cannot really update existing variables like this. Meant to do something in system, blah blah blah. This is a really nice way to do that. Def show. Okay, so display. Let's see. Are there any that mix files? Let me see. There's flake that mix. And then there's default. There's no default. There's flake that mix. Come on. What is this? DVD. Uh, file name. Like, I think just flake that mix. Okay, we already have that. So we do mix packages URL. That's how we load it. Legacy packages, system, inherit packages, and then weirdly enough, well, weirdly enough, what happens if I get status, get check? Yeah, okay. I forgot how to do that. So let's just have a look. Good question. Um, weird. Get status. We on track C. Oh no, we're not on track C. Gosh. Get check out shell. Okay, so and well, let's see what happens now. Is it failing? Def shells. Okay, so we fucked something up. Where is current system missing? Top level input mix packages top level. Where does this come from? Local system. Super weird. Um, that like that mix. That shell mix. Which super base. Which okay, so none of this. Mix flake def. Let me just go back to notes. Um, give me mix flakes. Work again. No, Let me limit all of my notes to the flakes notes, right? Narrow CLI usage, spawn shell, and that is mixed develop. So it'll say mixed develop. What happens? All right, cool. Fucking fills. Where does this come from? Mixed store, top level impure. Who knows what the hell? Lock system, mark system, or built-in start current system. Um, so we can get more information. Where did this thing come from? Attribute set, final value, right? Which one are we trying to solve? Make derivation, attribute set, shell, impure, default, and like a bunch of defaults. Includer, standard includer. What the hell was that? Um, it's unclear which part of this. Ah, super basic. Ah, snap. Okay, so this is where the problem comes in. All right, so let's go to C, and then let's just not there. Put up shell dot mix. So I get this super base thing package fetch from this import call probably breaks things, right? So here something import, it's something weird. But from GitHub, um, yeah, so what if I don't mean it and then I try to mix develop? Does it then run? I forgot. Okay, fair enough. So that works. All right. Import mix back flakes. There we go. Which means I shouldn't import the package fetch from GitHub. I should probably handle it through flakes. And what I probably can do, um, I can probably update. Yeah, let's try that. Um, where are we right now? Modified shell and which branch am I on? Order description list. Okay, so uh, I probably check this out. I discard yes, then branch. Check out new branch. Starting from hack, and then name for branch beginner. It's mix shell, um, shell super base import. All right. So we comment this out. That kind of like works. Then what we're doing, we're going to do a flakes update. So I'll go back to my notes. Override, update and lock flakes. Next flake, lock, update input name. How can I mix? Current track C, right? So next flake, uh, info. Let's look at info. Okay. Ah, no. Jeez. Next flake info. What do we have? Okay. Next flake metadata. What do we have? So we have flake utils and with mixed packages. Shall we just say super base mixed packages? So let's add create and mock. Yeah, so I need to add init templates. That's not good enough. Yeah, so let's say mixed flake. Say I want to update. Okay, so let's figure that out. Um, Mix flake add package. Something we can add. Ah, come on. Mix flake. That command not it. Init not it. Check init not it. Init anything. Lock anything. Okay, we're back to the beginning. Let's check this out. Next flake update. Next thing, flake URL. So how do we do this? Ah, this is weird. I'm just trying to add, say, like new current flex, but that's not it. Huh. I think we need to update. Come on. Can I specify particular thing I want to add? Like your that's not it. Ask is a note to make functions in rubber and say we're gonna have something. Alright, so none of this kind of like over like nah, global options. While dirty, don't want that. None of these help out. Okay. So let's just have a look at some of the artifacts here. It's like so the lock file. It's flake utils. How do we install flake utils to the same? Next package is locked. I don't want to change that. I want to keep the same next package is unstable. How to add a new dependency to next flake. Let's see. What's the command? What's the command? Not here. Serocal has some really good resources, so they probably have a good answer for this. About the basic project usage, using Flex project from the legacy mix, fault mix showmix. Here we go. Class mix build. That's not what we need. Enable unfree. That's jeez. None of this kind of touched upon it. Let's see. What's next? We're next flanks, next shell. Give me something quick. Give me something quick. Next flank show. Next flank. Maybe not. Previously next flank update. Every time you can mix myself like a lot of elements and content to satisfy the input. Just saying this next flank lock. Running your own. How do you add a dependency? How is this so hard to find for me? Uh, some tips and tricks there. Yeah, just looking at. All right, let's go. Uh, hey, hey, hey.
Hey,
How are you today?
I'm good. Are you on YouTube right now or something?
Yeah, like so. This thing, it streams to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Am I on YouTube?
yeah, you are now.
Okay, all right. Is anyone
Yeah,
watching?
it's just like right now. I see like one person is in there. I'm like a baby
Whoa, that's
streamer.
crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Like baby
Hello,
streamer audience.
fans.
Yeah,
Where are you? You look like you're outside.
yeah. I'm currently at Quentin Cafe in Mexico City.
Oh,
Just
that's
getting some work
cool.
done here. Yeah, good
Great.
vibes. Yeah. You're at home, comfortably at home at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I got up this morning at 4 a.m. I was coming back from
Ooh.
Portugal, and
Ah,
yeah, it was a really interesting trip. So I'm trying to buy like a farm out there.
yeah, I
I
know.
mentioned it. So I went to see like a bunch of farms. Never driven
Oh,
so much in my life.
oh wow.
Many of them were beautiful, and it really like made me realize there's lots of trade-offs, and the things that are the most beautiful are sometimes unimaginably difficult to maintain or live in.
Absolutely.
Um, so yeah,
And
yeah.
were you looking at a lot of like fix me uppers? Like, there's probably a lot of work you would
Oh,
have to do before you could.
from just bare forest next to a river for
Hmm.
150,000 to just a patch of land, like 4 football fields wide,
Yeah.
70,000, like just
Jesus.
nothing, or to like a
Yeah.
house for like just over 100K without windows, you
Look
know.
at that.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
sounds
it's
lovely
nice.
though.
And I think I'm going to change the tack. I think I'm going to do it with a community of people. Um, we're working on a proposal to bring to
Hmm.
people so we can all
Okay.
have a nice place in nature. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. So you're gonna own it together and then just work the land together effectively in different shifts.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to try and build somewhere that can exist forever. We can slowly terraform it and create a community that people want to come to. I, I don't know if this is the right venue for this, but so we'll probably set up a company, and the
Hmm.
company will buy the land. And
Yeah.
then as people come and go, more people can join the company, and it can be an association of people. Um, yeah, just of friends and friends of friends.
Interesting. Have you thought? Oh, this is like I recently started nerding out about like the family, like a family foundation or something like that. And I
Uh,
figured like in Germany it tends to be it feels needlessly complicated. I'm not sure what kind of legal structures in which jurisdictions you've already explored for this. Would it be like a corporation limited liability? Would it be a foundation? Would it be an
yeah, yeah.
association?
Foundations, like we're not trying to do anything fancy with taxes, like,
Hmm.
and we're not trying to build like intergenerational, like once
Hmm.
we die, this thing will crumble, right? Because there'll be so many
Hmm.
taxes to pay. Um, but apparently the corporation type with the lowest maintenance fees is a Wyoming corporation that costs $200 a year to file taxes, right?
Okay.
Um, so German is like a maintenance cost of €1,000 a year, let's say. So don't want to do it here. London probably less, but
Hmm.
Wyoming apparently is the place to be. Everything can be done online.
Perfect. Good to know. Okay. All right, yeah, because I figured already like there's no profit motive in this thing, so a company might not make as much sense. But if you say like a Wyoming entity would be the
Yeah,
easiest.
the company is just to bind us together, right? So,
Yeah.
so as shareholders of the company, we'll sign shareholder agreements, right?
Hmm.
Like one of those agreements might be, you must come once a year, right? And if
Yeah.
you don't come, you're out, right?
So then you
Um,
have to get because that's one problem I'm actually currently looking into. When you're out, you basically have to get bought out technically, right?
yeah, I guess we can work that out later, but uh, you know, it could be something like I don't know, some weird vesting structure. But to be honest, like coming once a year is not it. It's probably a structure of decision making because we're going to have to pool money to build structures, like
Mhm.
build
Yeah.
land, and to put the obligations of funding the maintenance cost of the land. So one of the
All
really
right.
nice places I saw that was pretty cheap is
Yeah.
still not connected to electricity. It's 500 meters away from the grid.
Mhm.
Um, so you need to lay a cable, and a cable costs €1,000 per 100 meters. So you need to put just stuff like this. But I
Mhm.
wanted to do something that's not like I don't think that we all need to give equal amounts to fund it. I would like it to be something that you you don't have to be like you don't have to have like 20 grand lying around to join in. I'd
Mhm.
like to be something that's a bit more accessible. But hey, early days working on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Uh,
Should we do some
this is
coding? Okay, go on.
no. I'm just thinking about it, and I think like something like that would be really cool to do with a bunch of. I'm also thinking about doing something like this with a bunch of friends. I kind of like want to sit on a bit more cash before I do something like that. Um, and actually, I'm currently talking to lawyers in Germany because I'm thinking through. I want to do something with vesting, and you're kind of like reminding me that maybe I just have to look in like at the United States, but I don't have that much experience with the United States. I just know that like vesting and things like that typically tend to be a bit more flexible out there than they
Yeah,
are back in Germany. And right now,
I
like it
think
feels like founding anything would require us to effectively lock in the equity splits to match the 100% because you can't found anything with like without covering the full 100% ownership. Um, by going to the notary, locking it down in paper, and then anything vesting related has to be kind of like an artificial construct on top of that,
I can
which,
send you the shareholder agreement I had drafted for my new company.
huh?
It feels like a pretty natural vesting structure. It doesn't
Okay.
need to be notarized. Shareholder agreements,
Is
I
that a
don't think they need to be
is it a
notarized.
German? Is it a German entity?
German entity, or maybe it did have to. I don't
Because
remember.
then the question would be if you show up to the notary incorporation, like when you do the kind of like the initial incorporation, you show up at the notary office and you have to then basically draft the shareholder agreements are there, you sign on the cap table there. It has to match 100, right? So it's either going to be
Yeah,
50-50 or whatever the percentage and an investor to make it a 100 in total. If you can't lock that down at that moment in time, you can't typically incorporate.
but why is that a problem?
Why is
Because
that a problem?
you just issue new shares, right?
Yeah,
As
exactly.
you know, if
So
more
that means that
people join
every
in.
time, that means that effectively from the beginning, you do like incorporation with the full split. Um, and whenever the other founder moves out, you effectively have to go to the notary public to kind of like update the state on the shareholder structures. And probably at that point in time, you
Yeah.
honor or basically bring in whatever the vesting agreement would have
Yeah,
required.
yeah, you're right. Because every share transfer needs to be done through a notary, right? In Germany,
Exactly.
this wouldn't make sense, especially like not everyone joining in would be based in Germany.
Fair enough. Yeah, exactly.
My friend wants to do it through a DAO, which I think is ridiculous, but she loves all this stuff. I'll be right
Um,
back.
cool.
Yeah. How's Mexico?
Lovely. I'm on a pretty good. It's pretty loud sometimes with the
Okay.
street vendors trying to pitch all these lovely products. Um,
Yeah.
someone just walking around with a cowbell. I don't know what they're selling because I don't see a cart. Anyways, so there's a lot of that ongoing. I'm doing my morning workouts. We have a gym in the building. We have a pool in the building.
Nice.
So I've been rotating either my workout, and then the other day the pool. Then I got like injured, so now I can't use the pool. So it's now gym every day. But yeah, we're good. Good food, lovely places to
Nice.
work in the sun. Can't complain.
Yeah. How long are you there for? And is it like
Just another 3 weeks. So end of February, I'll be back.
cool? Cool.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm on YouTube and I'm just seeing if I
yeah.
can
This
see
spell
this
is
stuff.
it's frustrating. I am
Uh,
public myself. So end of
um,
February, I'll be.
and that's cool. That's cool. So it's a month away, pretty much.
Indeed, it is. The bell is getting closer, but I'll show you. Like so, you can kind of like the person with the red shirt has a
Yeah.
bell that's probably pitching some either shoe
It
padding
doesn't
or
sound
garbage
so loud
collection.
from my end, to be honest. I think your noise cancelling is working pretty well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not distracting at all.
All right. Then like this accidental plug for the Open Shocks headphones.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
You're getting sponsored for this.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
not getting sponsored yet. I have to smile of an audience. Like there's one person here right now. I really have to work on it. I thought that being persistent every Wednesday is gradually going to lead to a bigger audience. Sometimes I have like 8 people in here. Sometimes it's just me, like no
yeah.
one. I'm pretty sure that once there's like a single person watching, it's probably sometimes my mom checking in.
But how do you like? So I'm on YouTube now. Maybe that one person is me.
Oh, so I'm seeing currently one on Twitch. If you're inside of the StreamYard UI,
Ah,
left
ah,
top, you probably see like number of eyeballs, and then it breaks it down by platform.
ah.
I see zero on YouTube at a moment, but it could be that it doesn't necessarily sync correctly all the time.
Yeah, maybe because I commented on YouTube. I actually can't
Ah,
see eyeballs in the UI, but Sure. All right. Should we do some coding? I can
Yeah.
share my screen and show you. I'm not going to be working on this Chrome extension.
What are you working on?
I'm just working on work.
Okay, cool. Same here. I was doing code reviews, or I'm trying to do code reviews. So let's see what kind
Yeah.
of work you're up to.
So how do I share my screen? Present.
Um, Bottom, there is a
Yeah, I got
panel.
it.
Okay, cool.
Present. Share screen. Uh, okay. Apparently, it works best with two noses or whatever.
Okay. Do you have the ability in the UI to switch the kind of like the layout? Can you switch between your screen and my screen? Because I have this option of flipping between different modes. Would be nice if you could do the same.
So wait, are you seeing? Well, I don't see you sharing your screen. Are you sharing your screen?
No, so this was me sharing a screen. So you see my screen right now. Like this is what I see, where I have like kind of like all the views that are streamable,
Oh yeah,
and then
yeah,
I
yeah.
can change
I see
layout.
that, but I actually just see Joseph and Joseph. I don't see
Oh, all
you
right.
as
Let me
well.
come to your screen then I can see what you see. Ah,
Yeah,
okay. Now I can see that. Huh, so you can change layouts. This is kind of like nice to know what the limitations on the platform are. Would be
yeah.
nice if you could like auto switch things around yourself. Uh, all right.
Okay. Um, so I'll just show you what I'm working on. I really wanted to use. Oh, I feel like I have so many like plain text passwords here.
Oh
Whatever.
snap. Okay. Like
Um,
yeah, I know. Um,
it's not a big deal. Like it's all just test stuff anyway. I'm sorry I don't have highlighting for Terraform yet. I don't know
all good.
why, but I really wanted to use uh, Cloudflare workers to
Uh huh.
deploy some simple scripts. Um, but what's super annoying with Cloudflare workers is that they don't support Node.js. I'm always like stumped by like the use case of lambdas. Like
Yeah.
it feels like so much difference between platforms, right? Like the whole point of Docker was to abstract away whatever like a platform
Sure.
offers, right? And everyone's like, no, but functions, lambdas, they're so great.
Yeah.
But if I do import, wait, let's just see where I go with this. So I have something
So
here.
like one thing I was thinking about because you're basically provisioning these workers through Terraform.
Yeah.
Um, wouldn't you just want to like use serverless, keep it simple for now, and then do the Terraform thing later?
Well, what do you mean, right? It's the same thing.
Kind of, but like now you probably have to I guess you can write Node.js functions there. You said like Cloudflare workers don't support Node
Yeah.
runtime.
Okay. So here's what I'm saying. So look. So I've got Nanoid, which is just like a very simple like ID generator.
Sure, I use that as well.
Maybe I can just kind of show you. Um, let's just comment this. Uh, Angular dev. Yeah. Okay. So let's quite a cool developer experience. Like it's constantly syncing your. So this is just a very very simple UUID generator package.
Sure.
Works well, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
see some UUIDs coming back, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great. All right. So now I need to like actually kind of sign some JWTs and like implement like a real-time chat service, which is like a requirement. So I uncomment this. Uh-uh. Why? Why is it not working? Oh, because it doesn't support Node.js primitives. And then you go read the docs, and they're like, we
Yeah. Okay.
aim to do best effort supporting of Node.js, but really we're just like extending the V8 engine and like, yeah, you can write some JavaScript, but blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work.
I hear you.
Um, so I like working with infrastructure as code, right? and I wanted to deploy to Cloudflare, right? Because it's the hot new thing.
Mm,
Um, and I have like all of my kind of DNS records there, which I just imported. I didn't actually write in Terraform initially. These are
hmm.
the imported ones, and
Sure.
you basically write. There's like a CLI to pull down existing config into Terraform, which, as you can imagine, is like super helpful if you
Yeah.
didn't write Terraform in the first place. But tell me what you meant by serverless.
Yeah, because I figure like I would do the DNS thing inside of Terraform as well, and then
Yeah,
like anything in terms of like deploying servers, like lambdas that I want to run, I wouldn't just deploy them with Terraform. I would probably just set up the environment or the space with Terraform, and then deploy into them through a framework like serverless, because they have like some tooling built in. They make it a little easier to spot whatever does work, what doesn't work. Testing is a little bit easier sometimes, and then I'll just deploy it back into the Cloudflare space, or AWS, or whatever Google's cloud functions are, whatever variant I'm using at the time. They have a bit better test tooling around it to also flag the stuff that wouldn't work.
yeah. What clouds does it support? Like,
I believe they do like AWS, obviously, but I'm guessing that they have like I have like this page in front of me that speaks of Cloudflare support. So let me throw it your way. Um, that's over here on YouTube, or actually, I think we have a private chat. Let me see if oh, here we go. Link coming your way.
okay, all right.
Yeah, if
Cloudflare
you go to
serverless.
the private chat, top left tab, because the link is broken. Oh, you also,
This
I
one?
think, yeah. So I think they have blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this would be totally fine, right? And actually, like, I kind of moved away from Terraform because it doesn't support some APIs that Cloudflare operates, and instead I moved with Wrangler, which is like
Ah,
their I don't know if you can see this, like Wrangler Dev is the command I ran. It's their development and test environment.
I see.
And it comes with this like TOML file, which does some stuff. But
Hmm.
anyway, I'm killing it entirely because when I can't sign JWT tokens, I can't access like client
Sure.
certificates in the HTTPS agent.
Yeah,
It's not going to fit my use case, right?
it
So
won't.
I'm going back to trusty, and also I don't want to use AWS because we're unfunded, right? I
Okay.
know how much money I could spend so very quickly on AWS.
Hmm.
Um, so I kind of, and I know I need the Kubernetes engine at some point, right?
Fair
And on
enough.
DigitalOcean, that's just mega, mega, mega cheap.
Hmm.
Cloudflare is effectively free. So what I'm going to do is here is my like just recycled script. No
Okay.
secrets in this one. It's actually written properly, which
Nice.
just builds and pushes to my Docker registry on DigitalOcean,
Let's
and
spin up
it's
some
going to do
Kubernetes.
that. So
Yeah.
I learned about the limitations of Cloudflare workers. Not going to use them. At least don't think they're ready for prime time. Um,
Hmm.
AWS Lambdas, their Lambdas support full Docker images, right? Or not right?
I don't even know right now. Like if they support full Docker images, I wouldn't think so. Let's look it up actually. AWS Lambda Docker. I haven't used them like that yet. Also, let me go find myself some power because my machine is at the brink of dying. Um, give me a sec. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. Uh,
How quickly
you
can
can still
I?
hear me or no?
I still hear you.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So I don't know, like a lot of the Lambdas stuff is like, hey, you don't need to worry about all this complex Kubernetes stuff. Just use our thing. But then I'm like, I know Kubernetes, so I don't want to learn your weird implementation
fair
of
enough.
Node.js, you know? Um,
Yeah, they're
like,
trying to lock you in. Obviously, good business.
yeah, but not it's just a different model. It's like, how can we cram 10,000, containers onto a single server and like have really massive multi-tenancy? but I guess I'm a little bit more old school than that. I just
Ah,
want a Docker image running somewhere because I know that there's going to be a requirement that comes along that says, "Oh, I want you to generate PDFs," right?
yeah.
And then I'll need to like somehow install Puppeteer or some sort of like HTML to PDF lib, and that won't be supported by the Lambda. I kind of assume.
As long as it's longer running workloads, I think you're gonna have a bad time. So I probably
Yeah,
would just make sure you pick an environment where you could like run these short lambda-like thingies, but also
yeah,
these longer running workloads without having to switch entirely. I'm kind of like bleeding right now because I'm doing stuff on Next.js,
yeah.
and everything that's longer running is not going to work there. So now I'm thinking about, okay, which environment do I now kind of like set up where I can do these longer recurring workloads. So it kind of like makes sense to move to Kubernetes some pretty early on, I would
So
say. Yes.
this is what I use for like my longer running workloads.
I
Let's
was looking
say
at that as well. I was
it's
looking
really
at
good. And
Prefect, Airbyte, and Baxter, like maybe a combination of, but like maybe I should just go for Prefect.
yeah, it's really good. And getting it up and running on Kubernetes is it takes some time, but once
Okay.
it's there, it runs pretty well.
And I mean, like, if you want to start quickly, I would just go for the managed offering. But yeah, this is also easy enough.
Yeah, I just have my cluster which I just throw stuff up on, and you can see like a lot of the things that
Yeah.
I've scaled them down because especially all running on one single node right now.
Hmm.
Um, so, but I can kind of bring it up if I want it running again because yeah, I know this stuff, so just
Yeah.
gonna just gonna stick with that. Uh, yeah, okay, so I guess I'm gonna just do this kind of slightly boring thing. So really, I have this really tiny script that will eventually be a maybe more fully fledged API. Um, how am I going to organize this? I'm going to take this out here.
It's kind of good to see you do this because now you're giving me ideas. I have been purposefully avoiding going into the Kubernetes sandbox because I was like, like it works most of the time, and then once in a while when things start happening, it's a distraction. And I'm thinking like maybe I'm complicating my life by trying to stay out of Kubernetes too much. Um,
Yeah, I kind of think it's just, it's the Oracle of DevOps or the IBM of DevOps. It
yeah,
is that one tool which just does everything, solves all use cases. It's been pretty good for me.
fair enough. Yeah,
This is
yeah.
like
Like
a very
hmm?
messy repo right now because it's gonna have Terraform code, Kubernetes code,
You're gonna have to split up. Yeah,
and
but I
lots
mean
of,
like everything in its time, and like it's organically splitting up automatically at
yeah,
some point.
yeah. I'm just kind of like pillaging previous things I've worked on and hoping for the best.
Cool.
Okay, so all right, I'm gonna delete all this Python stuff here. Yeah, I think I could just happily delete that. And so let's just write the config. It's gonna call Satori services.
I
I
hear
call
you in the
things,
background, but I'm also like on a different screen, so I don't always see exactly what you're doing. But that's kind of like how co-working works. So I'll pop in
yeah.
once in a while, and then yeah,
What are you working on?
I am just doing low brain effort code reviews. Um, like
Let's see.
so, I think like if you look at my screen, like I'm kind of like figuring out some Nix stuff right now to get like a built environment where I have a couple of CLIs, and then here I have a bunch of commits that came in recently
So
from
wait,
Ishan
you
and
work,
Stefan.
you're a contributor Nix OS.
No, not a contributor. I'm using it. I have a couple of PRs that have been merged of like packages that I implement or things that I've packaged for it, but I'm not a contributor.
Okay, so I'm confused about what you're reviewing. Is it
I'm reviewing
React?
my own project, but there's this built environment or this dev environment where sometimes there are Nix packages we pull in, and there's something I have to update that is Nix related so it works on my setup so I can continue. So that's it. I'm just trying to make sure that my def env is running so I can do a couple of tests before I move on.
Okay, so you're not reviewing other people's code.
This is other people's code for my own project. So here, this is from Tijan. All of this is from Tijan. Stefano has a PR waiting for me. More work from
And
Tijan and Idrissa.
is this your developer tooling thing?
Exactly.
Okay, cool, man. You wanna show me
How it
what it is?
works. Oh,
Or just show me the UI.
yeah, like so I can show it to you on Figma or I can show it to you on IRL. So this is the engineering board. This is kind
Yeah.
of like our messy engineering board at the moment. These are kind of like UI UX tasks. It's supposed to look a bit more like Notion. All of what you're seeing here comes from effectively um, a plain text file where basically in Emacs I manage a lot of tasks. So you can basically see all of that. And then what the idea is
Hmm.
that we're going to provide like Kanban views,
Hmm.
easy Kanban views on this thing. We're going to provide like easier tooling to monitor changes. Let me see, they had an interface for that already. Uh, I'll have to figure out how to navigate this. Oh
Cool.
yeah,
Are you bootstrapping this?
yeah, we are. We
Yeah.
are bootstrapping, but we are thinking about applying to Sequoia Arc. We're doing another
Ooh.
YC application for the
Yeah.
next batch. We're just letting everyone roast it, and it's good. It's been good for us because we've gotten a lot of like good roast points that have allowed us to think better about how to approach this.
Yeah, Sequoia
Um,
Arc's a big one. A lot of
yeah,
money.
tell
How
me
many people do they accept per round?
how many what?
How many companies do they take in?
It feels like it's in the hundreds nowadays, at least for YC. I don't know for Sequoia Arc. I just learned about the program yesterday, so we have to figure that out still. Um, so that size is unknown to me.
Yeah, I just thought it was like 5 or 6 for Sequoia. For YC, it's like, I don't know, 80, 90 per batch now. It's huge.
Yeah,
Maybe more.
yeah. So let's. I mean, like even if it's huge, I think there's still quite a bit of value from getting in, even if
Oh
it's just
yeah,
in
totally. Like
billing.
signal wise and network wise, it's quite fun and
Yeah,
yeah,
weirdly, it's still kind of like a childhood kind of like point of my like dream. Not dreams, kind of weird to say that, but like I've always kind of like wanted to try to get something into. So let's see if that ever works out. But I think the feedback points, even if you don't get in, are extremely helpful to understand. Like, okay, this is how I refine what we're doing. Um, so yeah, that's
Well, YC will come around and say, "Tell me what traction you have." I
what you
think.
actually have.
Yeah, yeah. They'll say like, "Do you have anyone using your product?" And you'll
Yeah,
say no,
yeah,
or
exactly.
and they'll say, "Well, come back when you've got one person using the product."
So that's what we're trying to fast track right now because we are kind of like in this weird. The problem that we have right now is how do you start a Notion like product from the beginning, um, considering that you kind of like have to build some edit capability in there that is better than whatever is out there to some extent, which is a considerable scope of work if you do it well. Otherwise, it's just a scrappy text editor, right?
Yeah,
Of which there are like hundreds,
but
which is not enough.
it could be. It doesn't have to be better. It could just be cheaper than Notion, right? Like Notion for 15-member teams is
Yeah,
$200 a month. I know.
fair enough. Yeah,
Uh,
so but that's I'm always nervous about the cheaper play. The moment you start playing the cheaper game, it's a race to the bottom. I feel, and
yeah, but that's always the way. Like a company makes super normal profits. Like Netflix made super normal profits for a very long time.
yeah,
And then Amazon Prime Video came in and said, "Hey, rather than it's going to be like $10 a month, it's going to be free, but you
mhm,
need to sign up for our Prime package." And it completely like the market now is collapsed, and Netflix can now no longer make massive profits anymore, and it's better for everyone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what we're trying to do in order to test this out is at least get more users. So we're populating our beta wait lists. I'm trying to get edit capability in there. The problem is because we're doing this whole thing on top of Git and there's this task management capability, there are a bit of too many moving targets, and we're
Mm,
trying to reduce it. So right now we're doing a bunch of interviews. We're trying to look at like the Figma sketches to figure out like how do we reduce it to the bare minimum that we can prototype even quicker. Um, and then from there it should be easier to put other people on it. We're dog fooding this, so all of our product development work is happening through
yeah,
boards like these. So like this is we're actively working on this. All the tasks are defined in here. We're looking at this Kanban board, which isn't optimal yet, but it's kind of like giving us some semblance of an understanding. It's shitty and it hurts, but because it hurts and it's shitty, we make it better for
yeah,
ourselves at minimum. That's now a team of four-ish people working on it, and living in the board effectively. And
yeah. I
then once
really
we
like
get,
that you're dog fooding it. That makes so much sense.
yeah, and then we're trying to get another team on it. But the problem I'm having is to try to get someone else to use it. You kind of like have to offer baseline Confluence Jira capability, the kind of like a very small subset of that, or baseline Notion capability. And then we're talking about I need to be able to view things, I need to be able to edit things. If you don't support that, then there's no starting the conversation.
Yeah.
So we
So
right now, mhm,
yeah, so we use Linear, um,
yeah, I know that tool as well. Love that.
yeah, and Notion, right?
Hmm.
But I'd happily like we've only just started using Notion. I'd happily move on to whatever you have. Um,
Perfect. So that's why we're cooking an edit capability, and then you should be able to replace Linear and Notion with this thing. Um,
wouldn't replace Linear, man. I love Linear. I
all
love
right.
it. It's so
Okay.
good. It's so good.
It is a really good tool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why do you what do you use Notion for at the moment?
Oh, just like simple
Company
stuff.
manual,
So like what everyone needs Notion for: job ads, records of the company,
just your primary
like
writing tool. Do you have like
just
the
stuff.
Google Suite as well?
Yeah, yeah, but docs is annoying, right?
Yeah, it's getting
To
better, but
organize
it's still
information.
annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, like to be honest, we're a team of two. I'm the only one
Mhm.
who uses Notion because for me, it's just like it's how I can keep my thoughts. And if we ever like take
Can I
off,
add your screen to the stream by the way?
yeah,
Because I
yeah,
know
I
you're
thought you
scrolling.
already
Okay.
had.
All right. Perfect. I'm on yours now. Yeah.
Like if I ever need to explain how things work,
Sure.
I have it. And also, like, my co-founder was quite new to
All the
how to,
tooling
like,
stuff.
you know, not just tooling, but also like agile product management.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so I, tried to define some processes and like if you want to do some recruiting, right? Boom, you've got a little website where you can share with
Hmm.
people, right? Like Notions has that, but it's crazy. Like I don't think they're they're offering like
You think it's not?
we're going to go over the block count like in a couple of weeks, and then they're going to
Yeah.
want $200 from us. Like, no, it doesn't seem to give that much value. It's just the default.
So if you were able to do, because I mean, like you could also have used Notion to do like basically your product management work, and just basically software development, uh, process management stuff in there. What you're doing in Linear right now. Why would
Yeah.
you why would you not use Notion for that? Is it because of
Okay.
all the
Just
metrics, the nifty metrics you're getting, the
yeah. Like
overviews that
I
you have
I, I
there?
want to plan like cycles ahead and like so. Look, I can see we're in a cycle. We're doing badly, let's say,
Yeah.
but for my co-founder, she really wants to like know when big epics are going to be done. And with something like Notion, like we have no idea, but I can say, look, we're delivering this many points a week, right?
Hmm.
Go allocate, what you want done when, and I can say, look, we're going to be done with this feature in March 6th, right? How would I
Exactly.
do even start to kind of predict that into in Notion?
Funny, funny you're saying that. Yeah, I mean, like
And
they don't provide you the metrics on how things move through these different
yeah, and
stages.
just simple stuff like looking back at the previous cycle,
Uh-huh.
seeing. what wasn't completed, and it gets auto moved into the next cycle. Like if you're running sprints,
Yeah.
um, it's great. Label, I don't know. It's way better. I actually don't use the Kanban view. I use a list view almost exclusively. I find it easier to like get a quick overview of everything.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah,
Okay.
it's better, more usable software. Notion is for me. I feel like it's very limited. I mean, what is it? It's like task. How do you even start it?
Yeah, I know. I have the same. Yeah, I think you kind of like create the Kanban board separately, and then it feels like tasks are different constructs to what you have in your regular pros views, which is just frustrating. Uh,
Yeah, and if you want a table, it needs to be a database. It's like
yeah,
they
exactly.
really, yeah, they want. So I guess it's this view projects and tasks, uh,
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying about the
and,
Notion thing.
and everything becomes a page, which means it's slower to navigate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what you're doing with the linear thing, we're kind of like doing inside of that long file that we have, where we have the list views as well, and I can
Mm,
calculate those metrics and how things are moving. At least that's what we're trying to do. Like we
yeah.
haven't done all of it yet. Hmm.
I don't care so much about metrics, to be honest. I just like I can work that out myself, right? I
Hmm.
don't need it to be worked out for me. I just want to combine the business needs of having like a long roadmap and the developer needs of like having all the information in one place.
Sure.
Um, yeah.
Okay, which means that developer like architecture decisions and stuff like that, you're documenting in linear right now.
No, in Notion,
Okay, so you are duplicating information a little bit.
a little bit, but it's more like you write if it's like if it's a something that needs to persist and not just the acceptance criteria for a single task, it
Uh-huh.
goes into linear, sorry, into Notion, and then you'll just paste it into linear and be like, do it like this, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But really, we're such a small team, we don't necessarily need architecture, right? It's more for me personally to be able to, having a scratch pad to think about things. The other thing I use for
Fair
like
enough.
is just Simple Note. I don't know if you use this, um,
Okay.
right?
Okay. That's
Okay.
okay. I see. Yeah.
And that's just for myself, right?
Yeah. Oh shit. We're in the stream though. Like do I like cancel your screen out? Because I don't know how
No, I
bright it
mean
is.
like it's fine. Like
Okay. Cool.
it's just nonsense. Like learn Spanish. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, phone Musa, you know, it's nothing really. It's nothing.
Psycho-cybernetics.
Yeah,
No, it's
yeah.
crazy.
Apparently, I should read this book or all these books.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, nice. Cool. All right. So you do have like a bunch of, but the simple note that's for you privately.
yeah,
If you need to share that with your team, you drop them over into Notion. That's kind of like modus operandi for you right now.
yeah. Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Fair enough. Yeah. So one thing that I had like very often was with many of the teams that I either worked in or consulted in either engineering or interim capacity. We had like a lot of this information that engineers would then keep in their own private note setups, and they would they would get annoyed if I asked them to put something in Notion or in Google Doc or in whatever because they wrote everything in Markdown files, and they found it really clunky to think in um, Google Docs or in Notion.
Mhm.
How did you solve the problem in larger teams? Because right now it's easy. You can pick the tools that you like, but in larger teams you get all these like people with like play different places on the spectrum. Um, they all of those weird kind of like quirks that
Yeah.
come with like larger teams.
Well, like I actually haven't found that to be so much of a problem. Like, what if I haven't worked in huge teams. Like the largest team I managed was like only 5 people.
Yeah.
But I'd say, hey, X, can you design the architectural component for this new feature that we deliver? And
Yeah.
like, I think they would just know, like the place would be Notion, right?
Hmm.
Where they'd write it down. because that's where we all started. It was
Yeah.
just in team culture. Um, I never had anyone like trying to hoard knowledge. Um, yeah,
Trying to what?
hoard knowledge.
Okay, good.
It's a problem in like larger companies where
I think yeah,
people
I
make
think that in
themselves indispensable. Yeah,
interesting. Okay, because that in the larger teams, I did have it, but it's nice to hear that. Okay, smaller team you probably don't have the problem as much, but you probably also hired for just flexible personalities more.
yeah,
So you don't end up with like these Uber hackers who are like, oh fuck, do I have to like I tried copy pasting my markdown things into this thing? It didn't look right. Now I'm wasting 2 minutes, and then I got a Slack message of something being down that needed to be tended to. I opted out, or I hopped into that context, and I forgot to kind of like update the thing, whatever. Um,
yeah. Because that's you, isn't it, David?
yeah,
That's
I am so
you.
much on the spectrum. I'm like so
Not
fucked.
on the spectrum, but like you like taking notes using Vim, and Notion doesn't have Vim mode, and oh, isn't that annoying?
Yeah, like I've had it. Maybe I've also been in too many of such teams. I actually spoke to a kid, to a person not long ago. Like 2 weeks ago, I met Franciscus, who works on like he works on cryptography solutions, and he said in the cryptography space, there are a bunch of these startups where like a lot of people are like working with rather eccentric tooling, and then they're using ClickUp for one thing, Notion for the other thing, Google Docs, and like people are not documenting everything all the time because they think in a different place. It's not their optimal tool for thought, so they always have to do this refinement step, and you kind of like have to make sure it happens, otherwise information starts lagging. um,
Mm-mm.
but I guess it's also like if you're building like a chatbot company or like I don't know, something like Airbnb, like there's very little really tricky like specialist information that comes from these specialists. Like for you got would have like machine learning company where people are like basically writing LaTeX formulas effectively, right? And these weird
Yeah.
diagrams, and you scribble some paper, and then all of a sudden in these highly specialized spaces people start becoming a bit more like, oh, but I think like this. Maybe Notion is not the optimal mode, but I think for other companies, most companies, you don't have this problem.
Mm. Mm.
Anyways, I know for a fact that I'm somewhere on the spectrum that I have to deal with. So I'm like not classified, but I know that I'm quirky enough, and anyone
Yeah,
everyone is quirky.
I don't know, like if these like I guess with regards to that kind of whole subject, I just say, look, everyone's not different, right? Everyone has different personality types, and we choose to classify some, particularly because the industry we're in. But you wouldn't go around and saying, oh, on the happiness depressive spectrum, I'm more on the happy side, or I don't know, like I don't think it's necessarily a useful tool to say, hey, I'm a bit on the spectrum.
Mm,
Saying you're
I get it.
quirky, yeah, yeah, sure, but like, does it help people understand you better, or does it just help people put you in a box more?
Maybe maybe it does a little bit of both because I guess like yeah, for the box like technically I can't say I'm on the spectrum until I've been classified as such. I do know I'm quirky. I do know I get intense amounts of rage if certain things don't work a certain way. I just need
Yeah,
therapy effectively. I think I've played with that option as well. It hasn't
yeah.
really solved it yet, but
I guess, yeah. I just feel like we'd live in like a better world if everyone just like tried to understand the individual a bit more, rather
mm,
than like, because a lot of people want to label themselves like according to their identities are getting much smaller and smaller, right? It
mhm.
used to be like, oh, I'm just a person. Maybe I'm being optimistic here, but now people, I think, want to narrow it down to a sub identity, where
Mhm.
I think it's not super helpful for them or for others.
Yeah, I think what the problem is that in language we use to simplify things. Uh, we model the world through like these boxes that we have. So it helps to have these boxes to kind of like deal with the models, the mental models that we can deal with. The problem is the more of them you have and the narrower their scope, the harder, the more unwieldy it becomes to keep it all in your head. So at some point, you kind of like lose the benefit of these labels once they become too narrow. And I think the cognitive overload then starts taking over, where you know what, like it could be anything now. Like I don't know exactly what you mean, type of deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I guess that's just an artifact of larger systems integrating more closely or
Mm,
interacting more closely. It's bound to happen. Um,
yeah.
so I don't know if that's necessarily a solvable problem. Um, I think it's an interesting one nonetheless. And I've also realized in like I've worked in multiple like various sized engineering teams, and it really depends on what space you're in. I felt like when I worked on more specialized problems, I dealt with quirkier personalities when I worked on more gen pop type of problems.
Well,
Um,
yeah, it's also like quite popular in like the queer scene to be like, I'm neurodivergent, poly, like all these like different things. And
yeah,
I feel like these are all barriers to getting to know someone as a person. Like, is that so important to your identity and not like, oh, I really like jazz music or, you know, I think Marvel movies are great. Like, which,
yeah. You know what I think? I think people sometimes say that to provide other folks the context for whenever things get more complicated. Because
mm,
now you kind of like have this manual, or you know that there's kind of like a manual to deal with people that are like at a certain place in like if you tell me like, oh, I am neurodivergent, then I already know like when you say certain things that I parse it differently. Like if you were to say that to me, I'd probably take it more personally, right? So I
yeah,
think it gives some folks a license to, or at least it frames the relationship to the point where you understand, like, okay, something is being said, or I need to communicate something. I may have to be a bit more mindful of how I try to communicate it than if I did it with like one of my co-founders that I can basically just like blurt things out to unfiltered. And
yeah.
there's a benefit to being able to blur things out unfiltered because you're faster. You just say things, and the other person is not taking it personally at all. They kind of like understand the
I
context.
know, but it shouldn't excuse you from being a polite person who's considerate about other people's feelings, right? As best to your ability.
True. I think you always need to be polite and respectful, but
Yeah,
I also do think like I think I've also noticed that there are some places where I know very well like okay, I have to maybe take a minute, more of a minute than if I talk to you, to think about how I'll frame this, or to respond to some interaction that happened that I maybe thought like okay, what's going on here, and then realizing like oh, but no, they're probably not aware of X Y Z. I'm just maybe I'm putting too much weight on this thing, drop it. It doesn't really
mm,
matter.
mm, mm.
So I think I do a lot of that parsing when I'm talking to people. If they already provided some labels for me to know, like, oh, I have to run it through this one compiler first before
Yeah,
I deal
yeah,
with it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I think that's fine. I think some other people don't necessarily use it in that way. They use
Mm,
it as a way of excusing uh, themselves, and we
fair
all
enough.
like everyone's ability to like just on this kind of spectrum thing, everyone's ability to master social interactions is different, but everyone's
Yeah.
intelligence is different, right? Like everyone's ability to solve problems is different. Like you
And we
wouldn't
have
go into a
intelligence in
bar and be
multiple.
like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm dumb, by the way, I'm really dumb. I'm really not very good at being smart, you know.
Sometimes I do, like I have to admit, like sometimes I do it. Like I know that there's certain areas where I need way more help to understand things, and I'll
Yeah,
tell them like,
yeah.
bear with me. Like on this area, I probably won't get you as quickly. So whenever I keep asking, folks they tend to already understand. Like, okay, he warned me. like
But
I
I
decided
agree, but
hypothesis.
you wouldn't make this part of your identity, right?
So
Like the list
yeah,
of adjectives to describe you.
yeah,
If you like lack social skill, like you know, you may be born with a bit of your brain missing. I don't know, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
Different wiring.
like
Yeah.
why do we see that as something to kind of hold on to and maybe even be a little bit proud of, rather than something that we can work on and maybe get better at over time?
I don't know if they're mutually exclusive though. I think when people take them as part of their identity, I think it doesn't necessarily mean that um, I think I don't necessarily think that they strongly identify with it all the time. It's probably just like I've gone through 100 interactions. I figured out that this thing works particularly well to frame the setup. So I'll just do it, even if I don't like it. Right? It's just
Yeah.
maybe it's also very much of a pragmatism thing where the model has learned that the outcomes are positive if they do this one thing, so they just keep doing it, regardless of the question whether it's right, wrong, or particularly helpful. Like, they just know that it frames the
Yeah.
situation. That's good
Okay.
enough for
I
me.
guess like you're right, and I'm just thinking of like specific people. Like, so I know this girl who's straight but active in the queer scene,
Hmm.
and she's now become neuroqueer, right?
Hmm.
So she can kind of associate with that community while not being a part of it. And I've started seeing some like weird stuff like ADHD pride flags, right?
Hmm.
Which just feels like very silly and not something, you can accept difference, but I know, celebrating something which, just for context, like I got diagnosed with ADHD a very long time ago when I was like 12 or 13, took pills for
Sure.
many years.
Okay.
Um, but I really don't see it as something, I see it as something that we should try and get away from and try and fix rather than
Hmm.
something that we
Something
should
to embrace and
embrace.
celebrate.
Like, I don't want to medicalize it, but like
Yeah,
having a shorter attention span, right, doesn't seem to be adaptive behavior to succeed in the world, right?
I hear you.
So
I hear you.
yeah, but like I understand what you said about it's a way of making sure that people treat you with a bit more sensitivity, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. And I can also imagine that for the parties doing it, um, it might also just be like maybe they've tried multiple things to like solve like attention span issues, and maybe it doesn't work out, and then maybe this is an interesting way of twisting or hacking yourself as a coping mechanism to just say like, okay, let me treat it as a feature. There are probably some things I can do well with this restriction that others
Yeah.
might not be able to do so well. If I lean more towards the positive things on that front or celebrate it more, life generally is better for me. It could be just
It's true, but I guess like part of me says, look, we all have our deficiencies, but
sure.
we should try and overcome them, right? Like we
Yeah.
should try uh, and maybe that's not the path to happiness, but it's the path
Uh,
to being able to make a bigger impact on the world.
but that's a beautiful thing you said, because maybe that's not a path to happiness, and we all optimize for different things. So like some of
Yeah.
us are optimizing for impact, some of us are optimizing for happiness, and I guess that's also the beautiful thing is that okay, so there's room for everyone to do what is best for them.
Well,
For
if
the,
someone's coming up to me and optimizing for happiness, I'm going to ignore them.
that's totally fair. That's totally fair.
I'm
So,
just kidding. Um, okay,
cool.
dude. Yeah, I think we're coming to the end of our coding session.
Yeah, it happens more often than you think that you're in the coding
Yeah.
community. Just
All
weird
right.
stuff.
I guess I'll see you when you're back.
Like we have to
I
do
feel
grab some
like what
coffee.
we could do to make this session um, maybe more code oriented
Uh huh.
would be to. Did you ever try using anything like tuple?
Cool.
Yeah.
No,
Um,
like, is that like a platform?
it is a very, very good pair programming app. Let me just paste. Yeah, tuple. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
All right.
It's good. Like it feels like you're sitting next to each other.
All right.
The people that coded it are like expert level. They maybe will have a free plan. Yes, they have a free plan. Um,
Okay, cool. Let me try it out. Um,
Gets up for free. Um, what we're working on is open source right now.
um, information tools. Everything is on GitHub, on GitLab.
Oh, it's
Um,
open source.
yeah.
Amazing. Because I think it would be quite cool to do something that you don't know, I don't know, right? And we can like learn
Absolutely.
uh, rather than just me sharing my kind of slightly backwards views about how people should behave.
It's okay. I have plenty of them myself. Um, yeah. So let's try like to do a tuple session maybe in the future. Probably we
Yeah.
do coffee before. Who knows? Um, it's all like
What are your strengths and weaknesses in programming?
functional programming, Haskell. Like I'm horrible at that. I think like when it comes to complicated type theory things like covariance, variance, like stuff like that, tends to trip me up. Um, I'm pretty comfortable in Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, C, C++. Borrow checking trips me up still. Have to work on that. That's some Rust stuff.
Borrow checking? What's borrow checking?
Borrow checking is kind of like the memory model that you have in Rust, where you can have information sharing
Mhm.
without using like mutexes or semaphores. So it's it's
Okay.
it's a bit tighter, um, and it's harder to introduce memory leak scenarios like you can do in C, C++, because the tools allow you to do everything.
Yeah.
It's also harder to get like null dereferencing issues because the borrow checker will make sure that this thing exists, and it will throw compile errors if you try to perform
Okay.
access that will be illegal.
What do you like? Is any of your code base using any of these things?
Nope. I
All right,
picked
cool.
TypeScript for just to be fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, yeah.
All right. I'm good at type. I just wanted like we can pair program on a TypeScript feature that you have. Maybe
Okay.
that could be cool. Or
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of. Okay. Also, I mentioned this guy from Rwanda who's like pretty strong developer, like 20, 21, 22.
Uh huh.
Um, because he could also learn from us, but his internet's not good enough for probably something like this.
But you know what? Like, what is that person doing right now? Is it working for a startup in
No,
Rwanda?
I interviewed him for a role, but he wasn't good enough. I think he's still studying.
Hmm,
But I was trying to work like how do we how do we collectively work on a feature? Because I think that would be a good use of this cool,
sure.
right? Because if it's just us working on your TypeScript code base, not super helpful. If it's you working on my Python and TypeScript code base, I know it feels like quite trivial. Like, do you have anything complex coming up?
Mm, I have a bunch of complex things that I could push forward, um, but not off the top of my head right now.
Like in 2 weeks, maybe we do this in 2 weeks. I join and we because
Yeah.
I'm just trying to work out like because if it's us programming just live, I don't know. Like we'll just end up talking shit again. I think maybe I could. Okay, so I have this interesting task where I'm going to share my screen again,
Cool.
um,
Gracias.
and
Yo quiero una más flat white con avena de. Yeah, sí. Oh,
oh, check you out.
oh, good. I'm sorry, like I was a little distracted there.
No, no, it's good. It's good. It's your polyglot.
I wish I
Um,
was more of that, but on the programming side, definitely. Cool. So let's see your
so
screen again.
yeah, you see it?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So I have like this. So basically, I'm working on a Shopify stuff. There's a shit ton of
Mhm.
data entry to do, um, and these are utils. They just
Mm.
do random shit, basically. But importantly, like they run only on my computer. And what
Okay.
I want to do is write a script that goes through each of these folders,
Uh huh.
um, generates an API for the main
This
function,
I
effectively,
see. Yeah.
generates a UI with the name of the
The
Python
fields that
file,
are in there. Yeah.
generates a button. So like
Hmm.
it can be steered remotely without me clicking, everything.
Okay.
right?
All
And
right.
then deploy it using Kubernetes, whatever, right? Um, I'm not sure how to solve this problem, right? Like binding together, like generating a UI that's bound to, you know,
Some
and I
information
want
that's
to
in.
keep
Yeah.
writing the functions in this way. Just write a main, you know, maybe like it would be something like a decorator called like exposed.
Yeah.
I,
Okay, so this is a fun one because shouldn't we just take two of these functions, kind of like say what we want to have in the UI? Because I mean, you can read from this. This sounds like something you just throw into GPT 3.5 and get an answer out of it. I don't know if you really need to like break your head over this. It's not a hard problem.
no,
That's why it's a good
that's
one
not
for
the
the model.
point.
It's like
Yeah.
the model is really good at doing simple shit like that.
Uh,
It, yeah, like because
uh,
we probably then would have to. I mean, the form does it need to be like? Is it like a? Is there like a particular app in which you want to see these forms? You want it? Where does this button show up? Maybe we should understand the
it's on a
requirements.
web page. It's on a web page.
Ah, okay. Oh, so, no. So you're basically using this inside of the Shopify shop
No, it's
already.
going to be separate. It's going to be like it's going to be, Retool.
Exactly. Okay, cool. Now that's good context. So
Yeah,
you want to use something like this in kind of like a retooly like. How do you deliver custom logic to retool? Because I haven't done custom logic. I know you could build like tables and forms and whatnot, but like building custom forms programmatically, I haven't done yet.
you don't. You create like an API and then it calls it. Um, just seeing
All
if
right.
Copilot comes up with anything. No, not really. Get all the, I think I need to be a bit more detailed.
Oh yeah,
Iterate
yeah. I
over
like
all
to.
folders and um, generate an API for each file. Okay, come on.
Yeah,
Yes. Oh God, no. Oh wait. It has something.
I think it was coming up with a couple of candidates.
Yeah, it was coming up
The,
with it.
but the generating of the API that's probably just like it probably doesn't generalize well over that particular
Yeah,
problem. So we would
yeah,
then have to tell it like, okay, take the source of that. Basically, we'd have to take the source of every file, throw that source into GPT 3.5 with the prompt around it, like, oh, take whatever we're kind of like doing here, make a button with the verb being the action that we're doing in the code, make a form that kind of like populates all the fields of inputs that we deal
yeah,
with in that function that is there because it's always a single function, I believe, right?
yeah, yeah. It's kind of getting there, to be honest. Yeah, there we go. It's done. Fuck, I hate my life now. This is it, right? So now I have my API, my root
Yeah,
with the folder
yeah,
name.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like cut down some time. And now, if we want it to be smarter, then of course the root is there. The function. Let's double check that the function. It's only saying get attribute model function name. That's not enough information for the function. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I
so
mean,
like we have to flesh this out. But that's another problem. Right? We could do
yeah,
that.
yeah. God, what is this programming game anymore? Like, it's just pointless, isn't it?
Programming is just writing text that converts into action. Like if you're writing prompts, you're programming the model.
Yeah, this is like it's actually kind of shitty, but and you're right. But actually, all of these, I think none of them take parameters right now, right? That would be like a later. So
Oh
they
yeah,
just
it's
call
always a
main.
main function. That's why.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't think it like actually can know that, but I have to work on this. But you're right. It could be done within 15 minutes, 20 minutes if I just sat down and thought about it a bit.
Yeah.
So what is it? Just architectural challenges we have now? It's no longer programming challenges.
Well, you still have to select the best candidate from the model, so that's still a programming challenge. And I think when it comes to like performance, the models don't always have enough context to do this really well to understand the trade-offs. So I
Yeah.
guess that's where the programmer comes in. Like, from my experience, I think this would work better. So I guess that's kind of like the level of challenge you have. But I think you could say the same for anything else. Like, are we still going to write agendas anymore? Like, I don't think that's going to be a job that we're really going to have to do. We're basically going to have to pick agenda candidates from model suggestions. So I think it maps throughout multiple knowledge spaces, not just
Mm.
programming, where we're just going to take effectively glorified Clippy auto suggest snippets and
How,
figure out
how
which one is the best one.
how long have you been using Copilot and like similar tools?
I have been using I've been using GPT-3 for over a year now, but I think Copilot wasn't out yet. I just have like I use like I talk to the API directly from inside my editor, so it's
Mm-mm.
slightly different. It's not as integrated as Copilot because I'm on
Mm.
Emacs, so I'm just like screwing myself effectively.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, I
yeah,
talk to the model almost every day to like simplify certain challenges. So I'll tell them like, oh, here's a piece of code. Can we like what is it doing, or can you refactor it? And then it'll generate something, and then I'll have to copy paste it back into the place where I really want it. But it works well enough.
yeah. This is just trash, though. It's absolute trash. But
The code that you have, like,
um,
there's a lot of trash in there, but I think like having something trashy that then runs and kind of like does the thing, then you write a test case to capture all of that, then you just go and you clean things up. And that's where the programming is, right? Because you can either then
yeah,
prompt go Copilot again to like, oh, can you like refactor it because XYZ, and then it'll do that, or
yeah,
you just manually refactor. But it's more like chiseling off of a massive clunky block as opposed to like materializing from nothing, which I
yeah, yeah,
feel
yeah,
like that way around is easier. Like chiseling off is easier than materializing from zero.
yeah. Wait, can I? I read that there was a Copilot extension where you just right click and like do write a test for this.
Oh, that's pretty
Uh,
good.
yeah,
So
yeah. Wait, here it is. Let me show you because it's pretty cool, and then I'm gonna go. Where is Copilot? Yeah, Copilot Labs, bro. Um, stats make robust, readable.
I can't see what you're doing at the moment.
Oh,
So
you can't see my screen. Oh shit,
no, not
no.
at the moment.
Oh, you didn't see any of that. Or
I saw like just the basic Copilot stuff we were doing in the beginning, and then I lost you for
okay,
the last 5 minutes. Perfect. We're back.
okay. So it has these things called like brushes. Like so, one of the brushes
Exactly.
is find a bug.
Seen that as well.
This is like just come out this week. And I don't know what it does, but test generation. Oh, it only works for JavaScript and TypeScript, so I'm fucked. I have to do it myself. So
Yeah.
damn.
So yeah. So this is why I am like I don't use Copilot directly. Like, let me see if I can do something like that. Um, I have to write full GPT-3 prompts, which is a bit harder, but I feel it gives you some capability, or it at least gives you like some. Let me see. Let me try to do something that isn't fully shit. Let me take this, and then I'll. So this is usually how I do it. I then open a scratch buffer. Um, Let me see where I am actually. I am inside of Traxy, so I'll open a scratch buffer here, and then I'll take a piece of code, and I have like some mixed code open, and then I'll do something like that. Take the following mix snippet, um, and refactor it to be more Nix Flakes compatible. Like stuff like this. This is horrible.
Yeah, okay, let's see
Um,
what it does.
yeah,
And do you pay
completely.
for the API requests that you do, and how
Yeah,
much
I
is it?
pay per request. Um, it's almost like nothing. So look, this thing, OpenAI wasn't trained to know how to deal with Nix OS, right? It
No.
refactored something and it's most likely broken, but very often I'll get like interesting ideas out of it where I'm like, huh,
Yeah.
okay, this could lead me down a path where I find an answer. It's not completely the same from what I had here. It used actually existing functions. Fetch from GitHub. It dropped that. It just does fetch Git. Something there. There's something there. Uh,
Yeah.
so that's how I do it. But this part, take the following snippet and refactor it. Also, I formulated incorrectly in terms of English. It's not even correct English. But this is what the brushes do behind the scenes. They take your snippet and then they tell it like, oh, uh, write a test case in the whatever framework um, to
This is
cover
a different language for me.
the above function, right? So this is not a function, so this is not going to work. But that's kind of like what your
Well,
test
try.
brush.
Let's see what it comes out with.
Let me take another function. Let me actually go to um, renderer tsx, right? And then I'll
Yeah.
take render element, which is a pretty long function. So I'm probably destination for line here. I take this function, um, uh, take the following snippet, and
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 sorry, how much does that cost to run? Because I remember looking at the API and it's feeling it's quite expensive. Like I kind of assume that would cost 10 cents to run. Is it less?
I don't think so. Like you pay per token effectively, like open
Yeah.
AI AI pricing. Let's see how much it is. This is not the one. Which one are I'm using DaVinci? What 2 cents per 1,000 tokens? Like I 1,000 tokens is what maybe 300
300 words?
words roundabout. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not that much. It's not
No,
like
it's no, it's
I
pretty
need to
cheap.
I need to throw so many prompts at it before I hit a flat white. Let's put it that
Okay,
way.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So take the following um, TypeScript snippet.
Should be able to work that out there, right?
Yeah, and write a test function in a vtest. Uh, a
Yeah,
vtest.
is VTest good?
It's pretty good. Um,
Yeah.
vtest test function that covers this write a vtest test uh, block function or a what was it? Vtest. How does it formulate the tests again? I have like some renderer tests here, so I'll open that and here the describe block
Hmm.
function or a describe block that covers all the paths. And then I'll take this whole thing. Maybe let's see, that's the end of the buffer. I'll take this and then open a complete region insert. It takes a while to get my API key from my pass store. It takes
And did you
a
write
while.
this extension yourself, or is this something you could get?
There's something from my editor. Not
Cool.
oh I did a PR to this extension. It's called Aid, I believe. Aid Emacs. Uh, Here, this one
Nice.
is
Okay,
basically just
cool.
talking to GPT-3 directly, and
Wow, super simple.
I still have a pull request waiting, which these things don't get updated very frequently. But I
Yeah.
feel like this gets you closer to the model. It doesn't add too much bells and whistles, but it does the job. It does the same job. And I'm like, look at this. Describe destination for link. It should return the
Mhm.
target when no document is provided, which is kind of like, let me go back to the actual code, destination for link. All right, so hey, it's actually sensible. Like when there is no document provided, which is my first if doc is undefined, return target, right? And it kind of like wrote a test case for it, and then the expectation is there.
I love it. It's going to affirm the faulty behavior you wrote in the first place.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
You're like, yep. Hey, I'm going to go.
sure.
Going to go cook some food.
You go enjoy your
Nice
evening.
chatting, and
Good chatting.
maybe we do this again in 2 weeks, and we
Use that
discuss
total
over
thing.
WhatsApp, like a feature
Yeah,
we could work on. Yeah.
cool. Sounds good. You have a good one.
All right.
Thanks for hopping
Bye.
in.
Thank
Ciao,
you.
ciao.
Bye.
Good times. Good times. All right. So it's about lunchtime for Leanie and I, so we're probably gonna have to head out to figure out something to grub. But I can throw away some of the test brushing, experimenting stuff. what I was doing, right? Let's see, we're on this branch. I'm still trying to fix something. Oh yeah, we were trying to figure out. Let me ask. Install when using mixed flakes. How I add a new um, let's, let's say flake lock. So what is these things are nodes at a new um, let's say, source to the lock file through the CLI. Eh, so let's see. Complete reading insert. What's the answer, buddy? You can add new inserts to log file to the next Flake CLI by running the following. We found it. See, this is it. Next Flake update add source name source URL. Boom. This is what we wanted to run. And so we're going to this one next Flake update add source. The source that we want to add. That's going to be flake.mix. Do we have something like that? Let's see, flake.mix. Um, no, it wasn't there. It wasn't default. I mean, it was default shell.mix, huh? So it wasn't shell.mix. So we have this little thingy, and the source that we want to add is going to be source name. Well, we can figure that out. So mix flake update all, right? What's the format here? Do I give the give repo a URL or do I give something else? Mix like update, so that's not what let's look for add source. Make it simple. Not add source. Fuck, this probably doesn't exist. Ah. So this is again what happens when you're talking to language models and they invent stuff. Although I set the creativity pretty high up, so the temperature is too high, so it's basically cooking up bullshit. What if I say flake? Let me just do this from the browser. Mix flake update add source. Just do it through DuckDuckGo or not Google automatically. Nah, tips and tricks. Do that one. I don't know understand why add. Add path. Ah, shit. This is worthless. Add. We'll try to update all inputs. Maybe I should update input. Okay, cool. Maybe I should add input. So it's update input. Next flake lock. Update input. Uh, Next flake. Um, Lock help. Select something like add input, update input, inputs from update input path, update specific flake input ignoring previous engine. Okay, fair enough. So we could can we name it though? Okay, so let me say add new input to next flake. I feel like I've gone through this thing multiple times. What does it create? Missing log file, show flake native data, create a flake in a specific directory, update flake log file. None of these speak to me. Um, let's build inputs, next packages. Come on. This is extremely frustrating. Uh, if I do update, can I update commit one file? That's not what I want. Inputs from commit one file, not what I want. Offline. The shit. How is this? Why am I struggling so much with this? Um, I'm just not propagating flake inputs. Uh, how to how to add mix flake input through CLI. Syntax. Uh, oh no, this seems like such a trivial thing. I'm surprised I'm struggling so much. All right, so like in case I keep struggling, then maybe one thing I can do is here. So I mix flake update help. I need to look at this again because I can't believe the thing exists. To create log file arc and pure override commit one no registries. You know what? Let's just play with this. Let's see if this thing is actually crap, right? So we call it super base next packages, right? And then we formulate, and that was already provided here, where I can have like here, get something, something, something. How do I formulate this? Ref unstable. And I um get GitHub ref. Okay, here we go. So take that as a structure. I put it in my here. So what we're doing, we're getting it from Nix packages, Nix OS, Nix packages actually, right? And then the ref, I don't know, the vision is this one. Let's see if that works. I don't think we have that. This might work. Um, or super base of that, and then what happens here? Invalid, right? Oh shit! What the hell? What the hell? Oh, unrecognized flag at source. Fair enough. So that shouldn't work. Um, okay. So this will not work. But what I can do is go to the flake.log file. Oh yeah, let's go to the flake.log and see if we can just do something here. Yep. Yeah, okay. And flake.next inputs and then inputs dot next packages super base next packages equals this was it. You oh fuck, this is annoying. I just should have known. And next OS, next packages unstable. Alright, which I got it from this one. Now how do I super base next packages? How do I update the inputs to include input? So next flake inputs ref. I specified ref inside of the inputs. Let's have a look. URL, here we go, ref. So you could revision. Okay, so we did something like that before. Let me see what the formatting here is. If I'm going to use the ref, I kind of like have to prefix it with where I get it from. So it's either some whatever my kind of like Git-lite type server that is running there. Um, but we're doing GitHub, so we keep it simple. So we just prefix with GitHub next to us next packages, and then revision. Okay, cool. So I can just do this. That's what I needed. Revision is that, right? Now I have super base next packages, and that means that here I can just, instead of trying to build this thing, I can basically just say, um, what's the question? Where do I get the import mix packages from that one? Um, question is, where does flake utils come from? And how do I get access to that? Here, mix packages, flake utils. Okay. maybe I need to expose the duplicate mixed packages, right? Which means that inherit packages and super. Let's see. Legacy packages system that gets in. This is all needlessly complicated, right? So how about this? I say super base packages, and then I say super base mix packages, and then I inherit. That's actually incorrect. The problem with this mix packages thing is that you kind of like have to pick up packages out of it. You have to unpack the damn thing, get packages out. That is a bit of a pain point. First thing we can do actually, one thing at a time. Let's undo everything and then start here. All right, so we can like do mix, like update, lock. Let's just mix like lock. Oh, it's dirty. All right, so up. Let's have a look. I don't understand why am I reformatting this. Well, I wasn't trying to do anything there, so discard yes, discard yes, each index and about data. I'm not sure what the hell I'm doing here. Discard yes, we're not trying to fix anything here. Oh gosh. Also, I didn't even know what I was reorg about data. Okay, fair enough. This was dumb. For some reason, this thing didn't do everything here. So this is the problem with work trees, right? If you're using work trees, you're probably inadvertently um, opening files in the wrong work tree from time to time. So here, I fixed this. Now I'm looking at the file inside of track C, which is my third work tree on this repo. This is there. Um, I need to figure out okay, here we go. So now we're back. Super base next packages, shell. So how about we stage that? Flake mix, we don't necessarily shell. Let's just comment out this thing in the shell stage, right? And then we try to build. All right, error. It's not a commit hash or brag tag. Okay, so formatting. Uh, GitHub mix OS mix packages next to the stable. Well, fair enough. This is not correct formatting, which I can understand because we are now looking at what was it? Branch. What was it? I don't know. Mix packages unstable. Is that it? I think that was it. Uh, let's just look at the formatting rules again. Ref is branch. Or maybe I should just drop this. I don't think I can figure that out fast enough, quickly enough. So here, click lock. Okay, cool. Message not found. What are we looking at? Unable to download. Commits packages on. Not found. Sure enough. Let's fix this. Ref. That's not good. Let's pick a branch. Gosh. Only pick a branch. We just have to ref here. Next packages. Revision. That's the one we have. Can we look at the syntax rules? So, uh, so, GitHub owner repo. ref or ref. Simple enough. So I could have just done this, right? Pop, 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 pop. There we go. Boom. So that should be valid syntax. And the lock file's been populated. Looking okay-ish, right? So let's see. Is it upgrading? Let's still add it. Ah, okay. Let's add unexpected argument. Where is that? That was inside of uh, okay. Flake mix. Let's have a look at flake mix. Outputs. Here we go. Flake outputs. This next back to I don't think I understand. Like outputs. Is that something that exists in the code? Let's just see. Outputs. Oh, there's no actual reference of that there. Tree, update a log file. Okay, add a superbase instance last. That's fine. Get tree is 30. Fair enough. And then we're calling an error. Call for unexpected. Yeah, well, what the hell? Ah, people. So let's stage that. What we're looking at, that's what we're looking at. This one has been updated. Oh, what's this? Yeah. Superbase next packages. All right, so we just add superbase next packages. What's in there? Nothing in there. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna drop this, right? And then next clock. Let's see. Ah, crap! Come on. You gotta say like this mixy stuff. Not always super easy. Everything is staged. So let's see. After this, code reviews. Um, what? How's the tree still dirty? Okay, so I need to commit these suckers. Um, okay, so um, and then we also just remove it from there, right? So I just drop it from there. Update that, stage. So we're gonna split these and unstage that, unstage this. All the changes that we have is basically word track, track mix packages that contains Superbase, probably Superbase CLI to be more clear, and then we just remove uh, or drop clunkily imported Superbase config from shell. Uh, Fair enough. So now if I walk clean, um, now I have to figure out if I import shell mix and I inherit mix packages. Packages comes from mix packages legacy system. So one thing I can the question here is this this thing here packages or import mix packages. So this thing here, so let's say Superbase, that's the package name. Just double check. I remember I have it in, well, obviously, it's part of the. Is there anything I still need to say? Give me. Oh, yeah. So just undo all of this and then refresh. Okay, so here we are. The previous one, we dropped Superbase CLI. So what we really need to do is pull it back in. It's somewhere in this thing, Superbase Next Packages. Let's see if I call this the shell mix expects packages. and also super base CLI, right? So what I'm going to do is inherit packages, and then we also pass along super base. I don't know if this works. Packages, super base CLI. That's probably a really weird way to do it. Um, uh, maybe you can also just maybe I can do this. I don't know if it's valid syntax. We're gonna hear the thing complain. So we do that. We have super base CLI, and then here we say super base CLI, and then we try to just mix develop, mix develop. See if that runs. Fair enough. Long syntax. Where does it start? Well, it starts in flake mix. This thing here, not terminated. Weird shit. Good. How we fix that? We do like select packages and then super base CLI. Super base CLI is going to be mixed super base mixed packages, legacy packages, right? And then we have to correct for our own system. And then inside this is going to be super base CLI. This thing we pass along. I think syntax here is probably okay-ish. I don't know if the inherit actually will be terminated a certain way. So let's just check. To close that. We look at the diff right now. We removed from the inherit block. Let's have a look. Okay, so this might be valid. In fact, no, well, still not. Um, Previous. Okay, here's where the last unexpected. So line 16. Let's have a look. 16, right? Okay, what the fuck? Where is this at the end of this thing? Inherit packages. Okay, so what? Okay, we do have to terminate. Um, do we need multiple inherit calls or can okay, so here, undefined variable, fair enough. Um, we defined superbase CLI. Why do you not know this? Superbase CLI, weird, undefined variable. Right, so, okay, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. So at this point, I have mixed packages that, fair enough, superbase mixed packages, right? Um, you think we fixed it? You think we fixed it? Something's building, something's building. Holy crap, which super base? Yeah, we did that. We did that. We solved it. So super base is now running. We did it a mix flaky way. One thing I'd like to play around with. If I were to, can I do this? Can I just call directly super base from inside that thing? So let's exit the shell. It's probably gonna fail. Fair enough. Super CLI is missing. Fair enough. So this is kind of like the way to do it. Okay, fair enough. So next packages, I don't know, it's building derivation. All right, so that built. Next, okay, so let's do the formatter across it. But let's first double check unchanged, unstaged. So we staged everything. Yeah, the shell wants to go big CLI. Cool. Have general packages, and then we have super base CLI, which we kind of like hackily bring in. Let's just run the init packages for matter across all mix files. Nothing has been reformatted, so sure. Um, import um, include superbase CLI from mix flake inputs. Okay, cool, that's fine. Um, which means all of these changes are now there. Let's see. Can I do mix? What happens if I call mix shell? All right. Cannot evaluate a function as an argument without a value. Fair enough. We were never supposed to use that anyways. We're supposed to call mix develop. That's the way to do it with mix. This is the clean mix way to do that. Um, okay, cool. So this is I'm pushing this. I'll tend to do that later. Mm, let's just check, make an MR for that actually. MR, create merge request, take snake shell superbase import, and import superbase CLI from um, through mix packages that have been pinned as a mix flake input as opposed to the formerly hacky fetch from GitHub style import. And we just create merge request. Fine. Now we go back to the long list and close that. Am I still sharing screen? Still am. Oh, got more comments. Yeah, that's lovely. Aw, same here. Always happy to see you show up. Ah, yes, still in Mexico. Definitely nice. Gotta like that. Thank you, Imposter Engineer, for showing up. Appreciate you loads. Can I respond to the things on Facebook? Maybe I should like stop sharing screen and kind of like do some Facebook like. It's really kind. People just checking in, eh? Checking in on the stream. Where do I find my Facebook streams? I have no idea how this. Ah, here we go. I gotta send some love. Okay, I gotta respond. Come on, gotta engage with that audience. I'm basically responding. So nice that you're checking in. Glad to know. Glad to hear that you're following my nerd adventures. All right, cool. Now I can share my screen again. Bam. Um, let's see, where are we? Where's the? Yeah, here we go. I can do the this thingy. Cool. We're oh yeah. So then also like makes just a glance. Next time the project is an Omni chat app that you can connect to all three and send. Ha! Now, now I like this. Maybe I should do like an Omni chat app that you can connect to all three and send messages to all three. I wish that StreamYard did that. I for some reason I think that there's a lot of API restriction type of issues. Um, I like this. Yeah, Twitch and YouTube. So I have like Twitch and YouTube messaging capability built into StreamYard, as you can see on my screen right now. Oh, you can't see it because I have this massive blurb in front of it. Hang on. Yeah, so here you can see I can send messages to either Twitch and YouTube. Facebook, no. Twitter, no. I can send messages to all destinations, um, but then they probably don't arrive. How many chat apps? Like Trillion. Remember those days? Trillion throwback. The kids probably won't know these days. Okay, but it sends an automatic to YouTube and Twitch. So the folks on YouTube lack context, but we're talking about it in the video, so I guess they figured it out. Also, who knows? Like, probably the stream gets banned because there's so much copyrighted music that's playing in the background. Um, At some point, it's gonna be a problem. I can imagine. Awesome, it was lovely to. Oh yeah, ICQ times. I remember that. Oh, that's like 2007. 2007 ICQ. All right. So we're gonna do this in order of age. So here we have highlight current GOC and section entries. What did we change? Store a lot, scroll smooth. Oh, there's a lot of like customizations. All of these changes. Let me figure out which branch it is. Highlight current DOC. So we are going to actually quit that and highlight current DOC. Big one. Oh, we're just gonna check this one out. Let's see. I'm going to enter into some npm run test. See what happens there. Now, what's the reason the pipeline didn't build here? Is it something with tests? Test and track coverage. Let's go quality to test and track coverage. What is the problem? Um, not building in front of my no tests. Okay, well this is wrong. Oh, trying to do waiting for file changes. Now this file I don't need anymore. We fixed that. We don't need that anymore. We fixed that. The scratch buffer can remain. Close that. There we go. Bunch of changes. I gotta tell the rest of the crew to always. Actually, it's better when I can do that explicitly. Let's look at. Actually, let's quit the test suite now. And then let's look what has changed here. So TOC, structure of the TOC has radically undergone modification. So npm format. Got it? No, interesting. Here and no, that's weird. If I close that, okay, what do we have here? Oh, and then shit, current system missing. Fair enough. Um, which npm? Fn. Okay. Next develop. Let's just do this. Be able to like spawn. Uh, okay, let's just merge that in. This is not gonna work. Mm, one thing we can do here. Um, on the stage, double check that it makes sense. This is problematic, maybe. So this was a div became a UL. The UL contains an align. Align contains a div now. Okay, cool. That works. Okay, part one. Content didn't change much. Then some SVGs. Like, let me just read whatever images. Replace component over breaking styles and high custom transition highlight current use that are full life. Okay, fair enough. So what I'm going to do, I'm basically going to stage everything. All right, and then for update POC snapshot, push it to that branch. And then what we're going to do, we always have like FT0 where we work on merges. It's currently on 50, set up GitLab, whatever. So I'm going to check out hack, right? And then I'm basically going to start a new branch, create, check out a new branch, starting attack called work in progress, already exists. Damn it. So I'm just going to check out the existing work in progress. Just keep it simple and then fast merge. Boom. Orange and half. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna merge my fixes, my mixed shell super base fixes. So I merged, no fast forward, merge and edit message. Yeah. Okay. So we have that. And quit that. It's reloading. That's FTC. It's FT0. I don't know what I'm doing here. Go to FT0. Are we there? Um, that didn't work. So this is like that weird layouting problem that you can have in fucking hell. I, I definitely fucked something up. Okay, well, was bound to happen. Zero. Give me quit. Rename. Come on. Switch. We're currently on 50. Like I want to switch to. How does it not work? So weird. Give me messages. Let's see where we are. Is there anything that says whatever? Okay. Okay. Hi. Ja, natuurlijk. There you go. Alsjeblieft. Graag gedaan. Thank you for the love. So the African card system missing. All right. So what we're doing. mm, so this is what sometimes happens. I royally. So I royally mess up my Windows setup, and this is it. Kind of like means that it's time to clean up. Like I like to have like all these contacts open, and it doesn't always nicely mix. So what I'm trying to figure out is name. Weird. Zero. Uh, if I look at if I go to C, okay, so I'm gonna split this up. All right, so now we're on FP0 again. I'm actually I had to fix this. So this, this is one thing we did. Then back to single pane. Um, can we switch a buffer? Um, track zero. So anything from track A exists. Huh. Okay, so I can look for main. Do I have that? Like, what are my? Holy crap! I have main. Let's open readme.org. Let's see what happens here. So now I'm inside of portal main, right? So I don't need anything. That isn't okay. Now we're all on main. So here we go. Hardy hard. All right. So vterm. We don't have a vterm setup, so we're just opening one. And what's one running? Um, we're in main, so npm run. Um, which npm? Okay, which superbase? Is there a superbase? Holy smokes, it works. All right, so this thing worked. Now, the thing we were thinking about is, all right, let's try to merge that in, right? The best way to do it to run npm def. So npm run def on the main branch. All right, how's the pipeline looking? Running so. What we can do meanwhile is look at localhost 3000. See if my dev session is ready. Just seeing half my face. There we go. Page is up. Cool. So what we're having, we go to problem, highlight vision, highlight goal, hoping highlight. And okay, so let's merge this. Merge, and then fast forward, merge and edit message, probably conflicts. Here we go. Um, what are we looking at? Probably rendering errors. Have a look. There we go. That's all. Oh, here we go. Unstage changes TLC. Okay, we can solve this. Basically discard, unmerged. It's simple. We're just going to resolve next. I'll just take what's the latest, and I'll do the next thing as well. I'll take the latest. All right, and then I'll exit this and run test, and then the snapshot is going to repopulate. Why is this still unmerged? Ah, well, we missed something. We can tend to it right here. I missed a few things, so we go back to unmerge. It's the next. Take the lowest block. And next, it's nothing. So I kill that. Okay, so everything staged. Let's see if the test suite runs and everything breaks again. Uh, okay, cool. We got some snapshot issues. Okay. That's kind of cool. Cal.com is doing a built in public thing, so I should just follow that. Come on, let me find it. Someone sent it to me, so let's find them. Cal.com, Calcom, Calcom, here, built in public. Let's see what they're doing. Gotta follow them on Twitch. Where's their Twitch? Calcom TV. So let's go to Twitch. They better follow me. Yeah, they're not gonna follow me back. They don't know me. Um, so content. How do you find like other people on the Twitch channel? Bu- 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 Oof. All right, can't follow people or find people in the Twitch app. So I guess I'm gonna have to start looking for it elsewhere. All right, but let's look at this bunch of modified changes. Group. Looks like we want to honor those. Everything here seems pretty okay. Merging. We can continue merge into work in progress. So fair enough. Let's do one more check. No, does that work? Um, so here. Oh, Three folks out here. How's it going? Two on Twitch, one on YouTube. This is dope. This is a pretty full house today. Kind of happy to have y'all around. Okay, link copied. Let's look at bundle sizes. Pre-map size. Come on, show me something good. Why do these things take so much time? Uh, Let me try that again. Oh, code merge stuff's pretty heavy. That's fair. Fair enough. So building is okay. Let's just set. We run the server. We've got server, sure. Everything here seems to suggest that we're kind of like okay. Local host 3000. Here we go. Here we go. Well, what's the change? We're going to change like the loader. Oh, it scrolls more has a smooth scroll. I love this. Fair enough. We got this. John, you're the best. Okay, so we did that merge. Let's look. What does it look like? Tree looks like this. What's the next one to look into? Um, this window is on my. How many of these do I have open? Whatever. Oh yeah, we were completing this. Are you planning to use Tuber for open source theme? I stream on YouTube and Twitch. Uh, YouTube.com slash C Rubina and Twitch. Uh, was it twitch.com slash Rubina, I guess? And want to use Tuber for their when streaming. Come on, when streaming. Cool. Submit. Now we're gonna get that. Thanks for all your. Okay, cool. All right, so here's the thing. That's the dev session running. So this one is more or less merged. One of nine down. Um, sure. E2 play retest and to test correct cross following. All right, cool. So this is an interesting one. How many commits were here? Hang on, just look at the commits overview. Format, fair enough. I haven't tested this case, but I believe, I believe. Stefano, they didn't have a task as a separate point, so fair enough. Let me just merge that in. Shall I make an attempt at running this? Actually, no. I can't. I can't do too many things at a time. Stefano playwright. I think I looked at it. Right. What's the next one? Play. Merge. Fast forward. Merge an added message. Uh, New file. So this should work. Cool. That one is handled. All in WIP. Let's have a look at. Okay. Cover that. Change source on button click. What is this? Change source on button click. Change play icon to reload button. Okay. Sure. Oh, okay. Deliver an order. Okay. Change source on button click. This is probably going to trigger. snapshot change. No? Let's try. Uh, okay, so all of this is already in branch local. Let's check it out. Source. Here we go. Goals are funny. And then, of course, we can apply changes. Not super snappy. Okay, so we can do this in the background anyways. No one's stopping us from doing that. Um, but now we have like an active apply changes. Yeah, I like this. Snappy, never blocks. I think that Tijan implemented sorting this in a background worker. Let's kind of look at it. Add action. Okay, so add action button and info icon. That's just UI. Fair enough. What is this? Editable. Oh, we're just changing the buttons. We're not doing anything with background workers. Okay, merge. Ah, hang on. Yeah, see if there's anything there. Oh, darn it. Um, why? Why do we have this? Fair enough. Oh, no, gracias. Oh, fair enough. All of these things have to be merged into that whole fucking super base thing. My Nix shell environment is broken, so npm doesn't work anymore. So that's what I have to do. I basically have to merge this working branch and fix things in there. Fair enough. Let's just do it. It's not it's not sterile, but who cares? Okay, cool. So I go back to like WIP. Merge. I don't kind. I really don't like. Whatever. Just merge this. No fast forward. Merge and edit message. Uh, we're gonna do formatting in like a separate round. Remove dark mode. I gracias. Fundamentally agree with this. I always agree with removing code. Yeah, merge, no fast forward. Yeah, remove dark mode. Rewrite the yeah. Remove resolve the emoji issue. What was that? Changing destinations or paths. We have to figure this out differently, but no fast forward, merge and edit message. Kind of like agree with that. What's the next one? Playwright GitLab CI. Okay, cool. So let's see if Stefano has a Playwright GitLab CI task. Let's see. Come on. We have a Playwright. Anything from Stefano? Nope, just that one. I'll wait with that. Probably still work in progress. Okay, optimize source editing. That's a big one. I spoke about this, so that's where optimize source editing. Yep. So let's just check that out and will not run since I broke my environment. We can fix that. Actually, first look at the code. You can't just, I haven't seen it. Change point timed out. Significant include sampling by using worker for parsing the bounty so we consecutive range type fast. The parser runs once for the change. Brilliant changes. Let's read through it. Got a ref for something. We're using it somewhere in there. I don't know. The bounce time. Dijon is like the best. It looks pretty slick. Page source worker. Parse source worker TS. How will we actually run the work? Okay, here. New worker. meta URL. What do we use that for? A message. Our source for this URL. Okay, cool. We can work. We can live with that. Merge. No fast forward. Edit. Oh, snap. Okay. Give me a second. Where are we? We get like how we're merging with conflicts. Ah, this is gonna be tricky. All right, let's do this. We need this now, so that says dynamic and information circle icon. We keep that. There's a reason. Handle edit source. Now that's bullshit. We get paths. All right, so this is a new flow. So we do take the next one. Run def. All right. All right, it's interesting. We can always merge partially, run all the tooling. How do you do a merge? Merge. For conflicts, it's easier. We can think about it in a minute. Oh, which right, and so you do it and MRC reload. Yes, I do. Now I'm closing MRC. Uh, which npm? Huh. Four people. Holy smokes! Full house. Two from Twitch, one from Facebook, one from YouTube. All right, cool. We gonna be all right. We hear you. We're gonna be all right. We'll be all right. Okay, so this is now running. Let's have a look. Sweet. So those are funny, but we need them. Probably need to reload this. Let's just do that. No. Okay, go to the source view. Handle edit source not defined. All right, cool. Okay, so this is it. This is it. Handle edit. Yeah, this is not source change. Handle source change. Uh, we're gonna be all right. Maybe we need to like double check what is in there. We removed it, huh? We didn't even have a button for that actually. It's like there's a return block, and that's like source editor. Source protected. Holy shit! We don't need that. Expected token, source editor. Well, fair enough. What happens here? Okay, wrong screen. Give me all the errors. Snappier source. All right. Yeah, how does this work? Scrolling broken. Figure this out. Um, okay, but this is representative of where we're trying to go. So initial value source, not just a light. Come on. Okay, I can try to struggle with this, but this is not an editor. Something else that I incorrectly brought in. Do we wrap this thing inside of a? Okay, maybe we just bring back the diff. So this diff here, things used to work pretty well when this thing was in the mix. Oh, look at this, better. Cool. Let's go to the goal. Let's see that. So let's say goals are important. I don't know. Um, how are you doing today? Does the does the UI update at all? We have really expensive parts render cycles. So this is supposed to feel snappy, but it won't really. Um, it's snappier than what it was before. We need to do auto wrap inside of the code mirror thingy, but that's a struggle for another day. So let's just npm one format fix, be fixed. Then we have to run build, make sure that that works. Acceptable. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Npm run build. Let's see how that goes. Stage. So we drop all of this. Merge, magic merge, and modify code. Let's just merge, merge board. That's just after certain servers, this command fails. This command shows a preview of merging the branch and arbor into the current branch. Huh, maybe that's what we need to use. This command merges the current branch and another local branch and removes the former. You don't need to do that. This merge the branch of the current branch and removes the former. Sounds the same. This can merge another branch and another into the current branch, but doesn't actually create the merge commit. Merge no commit. That's probably one of the things. The merge condition currently does not actually create the merge commit. And for just the merge, even with automatic conflicts succeeded, or just a commit message. Okay. And I use this a lot. Merge edit message. Oh, where are we here? Error. Okay. Perfect. Bunch of things to fix. So what are we looking at? Information circle icon, and arrow path defined but never used. Tooltip, right? Assign a value but never used. Here we go. Button classes use. Classes never used. So here we go. We can just TypeScript mode. Get some syntax highlighting and make sure we stage those. Oh, merging. I dynamic is defined but never used. dynamic. There we go. Let's get rid of some stuff, huh? All right. Let's see. Yeah. Cool, 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 cool. Browser list can I use? Light is outdated. This is what browser lists. Browsers list. Some tool I'm not using. Okay, so what we have now, uh, compiling works 200 KB. So bundle size is getting bigger again. Think about that. It's still visible. All right, so remember this. Run format fix, just double check that all these changes. I'm not gonna run the npm thing because of the test thing because I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of them from. You know what? Fuck it. Let's be thorough. npm run test. I'm pretty sure a bunch of the snapshot changes that are going to happen that were not related to this particular um, branch. So I'm just going to see what it says. I'm not going to fly them. Uh, but as I said, I'm not going to fly them. I may as well. On. Oh, they're all green. Holy crap. Okay. Well, then we're doing better than I thought we were. So back to this. Oh yeah, that thing is gone. Yep. Merge that in. That means that now we have merged overview, optimize source editing, fix baseline alignment and headings. Damn, this is nice. All right, so we're going to check that one out. Fix baseline alignment. This typically has like screenshots, not right now. Okay, cool. So let's play around with this. How many commits for these? Okay, let's try this new magic. Okay, so merge. What was it again? Merge but don't commit. No, fast forward. Merge but don't commit. Let's see what happens. So I don't know where we are right now. Ah, okay, merging. Oh, sweet. This is lovely. Okay, so we can kind of like update snapshots. Now let's figure out how many of them. Snapshots for what? The renderer. Well, because all the headings are now wrapped inside of a span. Is it? Okay, well, it looks like it. Here we had a heading, collect underpants. Where does the text now show up? Collect underpants. Oh, it's still there. It's in the heading. All right, so we drop the heading. We have a span, and then inside of the heading. Fair enough. Okay, cool. Got some water here. Um, Now that we've done that, let's run npm run def, see what it actually looks like. Um, Switch to that window. It's kind of cool. So we had no commit, right? Yeah, cool. Okay, that one is ready. Alignment. I think we fixed alignment, right? Yeah. Oh, snap. It's reloading. It's better. I think it's better. Let's say inspect. All of this is now wrapped inside what? A diff with a button. I don't know if this is actually what we're looking at. We have a span in the mix. I don't see the span. Span now. Heading one. Now span. We have an SVG, and then there's better context. Okay, bunch of spans. Fair enough. Idris says the best. Looks a lot cleaner. Cool. The highlighting thing is something that Jesse said we're changing, so we'll figure that out. This thing I'm happy with, so I'm cool. NPM one build, just make sure that runs. Mm, yeah, so I will basically track these changes as well. This is all. Build process running, bundle size computed again, but we don't care. We just do that. Change, um, long message merge branch. Do remote tracking. That was not convenient. I should have renamed it. Okay, last one for today. I guess, or almost last one for today. Now let's do that. So fixed baseline. Here's the size of the fold icon. Like, what are we trying to do? Why do we want to reduce it? Like, why? I don't know. Does it preview? I don't know why a smaller fold icon is better. Huh. Let's just check this out. Let's just look at what that looks like, right? Can you tell? Ah, snap. NPM run that. So that's okay. Alignment is problematic. Okay, well, we'll just make a comment. Um, all right, so here we go. It's not. There we go. Say, we're my home. Oh, this is not me. 5 minutes a bit off. It's a bit off. And the carrot. ATM. That's the carrot is too high on ATM. Can you think about how to align to the first line baseline in the case of the titles? Can you think about how to align the first line baseline in the case of the titles? Okay, so well, what's this? Fuck, am I in the middle of a merge? No, we aren't. I just checked out that branch. If npm run shell is already npm run def is already running, I didn't have this problem. Would have been trickier if. Okay, so I think all of these. So if I go back to double IP, I can just run. Just give me a second here. npm run def, right? npm run build. I think npm. Come on, enforc here and reload. Don't understand why this is so complicated sometimes. Switch npm run def. That's not what I want. npm run build. Just double check that it builds. And meanwhile, I'm pretty sure we can be pushing this push elsewhere. GitLab hack, origin hack. I'm sorry. Come on. I think I canceled the build process. Npm run my fix. Just double check that that's okay. Uh, we're in the reds for the build size. That's unfortunate, but it's just what it is for now. Let's just double check. No changes. Npm run test. Just double check the data screen. Okay, and then we push. Elsewhere was origin hack. Okay, page passphrase. All right, so that's two hack now. So that means that a bunch of these are just going to show up as result. One more. Um, Gen all code 223. What's that EMR you were talking about? 223. I just got this. 223. Okay, 223. All of them. Variable. Let's go. Noted. Branch. Having a pipeline tab. Continue. Oh, yeah, of course. Okay. So I am assuming this is still so let me see where's my branch. I have my pipeline and no, come on. This, I don't want to do that. Let's click out on that. Back to that pipeline. What's that? Was version pipeline? Okay, that was the first. Um, um, maybe I should just do this. We can just like, oh, thanks. Actually, let's do that easier. Well, when did it start? This was like what, 2 days ago, a while back. Just have a pipeline count. I'll hold the message to continue with your account. Something doing. Um, comment. Yeah. Cool. How do you say thanks for your good work? Please, Tijan, damn. Go. So merge work is done. Um, so now we have to figure out the scroll parallel that when you scroll here, it updates there. Also, the dev thing isn't running anymore. Fair enough. With, with this. All right, so I think I'm going to call it a wrap for today. I did these scope reviews. I did some chilling with Joe. I did some design sparring with Jesse. I'm going to stop. I should tag this to stream. So later on, when I do my analysis, I can find out what I was working on. Cool, cool, folks. This is going to be it for today. I'm going to do a casual walk around outside, see if I can spot Looney, and I'm pretty sure that connectivity is going to drop out when I do that. I don't even know if Lainey's still around. She's in the sun over there. You can spot her. Hang on, I'll show you. Lainey. See, little Mickey Mouse hairdo right underneath behind the three items. Cool. So that's it. Stream over. Y'all have a lovely rest of the day. Thanks for checking in, everyone. Right now, the two folks on Twitch, love that you're there. Thanks for hopping in. And let me know if you want to join the stream sometime. You saw Joe was here today. We were just nerding out. Sometimes we're talking about code. Sometimes we're talking about completely random whatever. Always time or room for that. Let's get doing this. I'm going to take a minute, eat something, and then tend to some data engineering puzzles. Ciao, ciao.